All right, welcome in. Happy Thursday to everyone out there here. And look, we're almost to Friday. We appreciate you guys joining in. Welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show. We got a little things planned. It's a little bit different than usual. Well, because the Ravens are on a bye week, so it's a little more dormant. Doesn't mean that there hasn't been some spiciness or some drama involved with this week. We'll get into all of that in the later portion of the show. But the current news right now is kind of the MLB hot stove. It's getting hot, as some would say. So we're going to discuss some recent moves, some rumors, and where it fits in with your favorite MLB teams. We know we got a lot of Oriole fans on there. We might have a appearance from Nick Moore, potentially. It depends on if he becomes available, and if he does, we'll have Nick on, talk a little ball, and talk about how Georgia really lucked in to being in the college football playoff there. I'm just saying, man, if they were in the ACC, don't know if they would have survived. So, and we'll have call-ins. We'll put it in there in the end. So we appreciate all of you guys. And right now, we got a couple people that are joining the stream for sure. We got Brad behind the camera.
Yep.
How we doing?
You just have to, I'm apologizing now. There's going to be a lot of coughing and sniffling and stuff in the background. I'm going to try to mute it out as much as I can, but I'm here and I'm pushing through.
Yeah, you know, you're very emotional to see me again, I can tell.
Yeah.
Not that you're just fighting off whatever the hell you're fighting off. So maybe keep your distance.
I'll tell you what, better for it to happen now than Sunday.
It's a very good reason for that. We need to make sure it's that. Well, this person can't affect us at all or impact us because he's not in studio.
Yeah, he's got COVID rules going on right now.
Yeah, Zach Bollinger there he is.
I'm just warming up my arm after I'm seeing the prices that pitchers are going for.
Holy hell, man.
I'm seeing the rate of a starting pitcher, and I might have a few more innings in me. So
there you go.
How many innings have you had in you before? Like
0. So it really is a fresh start.
You got a real fresh arm.
Yeah, like there's not much, there's probably a lot of ligament damage from stupid stuff, but like wear and tear from baseball, there's not that much. So kind of like a fresh slate for a team to work with kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. We'll give Scott Boras a call, or hell, maybe we'll even ask him in Dallas. Should we just talk about that?
We should. That's why I said people are going to, it doesn't have to be a secret.
It's not a secret. Well, officially announced it to our Holy Shirts and Pants members earlier because I wanted to thank them, right? And if you want to be a channel member, it does help us continue to grow and give you content and create a better experience, right? So that join button, you can be a Rips Good Kid. All of it is going back so we can make this better for our listening audience. And we got a phenomenal community. I'll be biased. I think we got the best community out there. We have phenomenal people. But I wanted to thank the Holy Shirts and Pants crew because we're going to Dallas, Brad.
Yes.
On Sunday. And if you guys are checking the calendar, pretty sure the winter meetings are in Dallas. And we're going to be there for it, giving you guys coverage from the spot, what's going on, who the hell we possibly are going to run into and meet. I cannot tell you. I really don't know.
No, we have no set itinerary for this. It's let's go since we've never been and see what it's all about, and then we can figure it out from there. Essentially, we are going to take recording equipment so we can do some stuff and maybe go live while we're there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's going to be great. I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah. And quite frankly, it's coming at a good time hearing that Soto should have an answer. And I actually had a chance, Brad, to ask Tim Kirchin, friend of the show, friend of the program, about, what to expect, advice. And he goes, my advice, be ready for the unpredictable nature that is the winter meetings. Sometimes it can be very dormant, or sometimes everything is going on, and that is okay.
Yeah.
But we're excited about that, and hopefully
is Tim going to be there?
He's not going to be there. Yep, tragically, sadly. So we're excited for that, which then means Zach Bollinger might have to be driving the ship on Monday. So give you guys a heads up.
That's what I do, If Tim isn't going to the winter meetings, that's tragic.
That is tragic.
It's absolutely tragic.
It really is
baseball. Tim is baseball.
Tim is baseball. Baseball is Tim. And Finkel is Einhorn.
Yeah.
Einhorn is Finkel. So we'll have a lot more of that coming your way baseball-wise. So appreciate that. Again, Holy Shirts and Pants and all of our channel members, the Rips Good Kids, thank you. Again, all of that is helping us upgrade and helping us get more and more content to our great community. So appreciate you. Now let's talk a little bit of ball, guys. Let's start with baseball. The burners are on.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a big move today, but by a team that I'll be honest, not that I was expecting.
Yeah, a real head scratcher.
Largest deal in team history. If you guys haven't seen it, the drama, the suspense, they're no longer the Oakland A's. They're just the Athletics, or you can call them the Sacramento A's. They made a splash. They signed Luis Severino to a 3-year, $67 million deal, which, guys, I'll be honest, I know he had a bounce back year with the Mets. He looked good. He cashes out. But wow, that is way more above the market value than I expected. And Zach, what is Eflin getting for being in Baltimore on his current deal?
$18 million. I mean, we talked about this at the deadline when it was a big deal. It was the Orioles are taking on $18 million for Zach Eflin in 2025. And at the time it was, hey, that's a steep price, but you're willing to pay that. That looks like a steal right now when you see some of the figures that these kind of tier 2 pitchers are getting, where I would throw a Zach Eflin in. He is getting paid for $18 million. That is the steal. I mean, we talked about it being the steal of the deadline at the time. Now you look at that now, and it's even better. The one thing I will say, I would be so upset if I was an Oakland fan right now. I mean, you spend all these final years in Oakland, and you're just, anytime they get any sort of talent, they ship them away immediately. Any sort of talent immediately gets shipped away. They move out of Oakland, and the very first offseason, not even to the winter meetings, and they're handing out the richest deal in franchise history. You got to feel for the fans there.
I don't get it. And actually, Rick, I said this as we were talking about it off air, of like, this is such an A's move.
This is spending money to spend money.
It's surprising, but it's not shocking that it's the A's.
It really is. And also, if you guys think about who they've traded away and what they've gotten back, and how it hasn't really all worked out for the players they've gotten back, right? Yeah. So they gave up Sean Murphy, catcher.
Yeah.
The Braves. They also gave up Matt Olson, stud, back to Atlanta, where that's where he grew up, is in Georgia, Matt Olson. So it made sense. And look, it's one thing if you're trying to find your footing and you're just saying, hey, we're committing to really scaling back. But now in this case, and I see certain things. Yeah, you got to spend a certain amount, obviously, in MLB. But man, you're thinking about, are the A's going to make a run this year? Probably not. Did they play better than expectations last year? Yes. Could Severino be a nice trade piece at the deadline? And Christopher, I'm seeing that. Yeah, he very well could be. So, hey, you know what? But I think the bigger surprising part of this conversation is how much money was given out. So if Luis Severino is getting $67 million, shirts and pants, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think some of the top arms are going to get? And I think that's where this conversation is going to go. Is there's a lot of arms on the list. And not even that, the price tag for guys like Nathan Eovaldi, Zach, that's going to rise because of these deals. Set aside the Frieds and the Burns and all of that. It's about to get wild here for this hot stove.
Yeah, I mean, that, like I just talked about with the tier 2 type pitchers, this is Christmas for guys like Nathan Eovaldi. I'm sure their agents called them the second this deal went through and were popping champagne, because if Severino's getting $22 million a year, a guy like Nate Eovaldi, the starting point is 27, 28. I mean, this is a massive day for them, because Eovaldi, you talk about a guy with Severino who struggled a little bit in New York with the Yankees to start his career. He always showed flashes of, okay, he can be that frontline pitcher. Goes to the Mets, has a nice bounce back year, kind of gets his feet under him, cashes out in this deal, where I do believe I've seen some people in the comments talk about as well. I think you paid a little bit more because he has to go to Sacramento and pitch in a minor league park. You probably have to pay that tax a little bit. But guys like Eovaldi, guys like Manaea, stuff like that, guys like that, this bumps up the price for them. So even, the Burnes and them, they're going to get theirs no matter what. But those tier 2, tier 3 guys, this is a good news for them.
Yeah. Hey, you're damn right it is. And it leads then into where these big dogs are, right? And yesterday we did our hot stove. So for those that are wondering, every Wednesday we're having a happy hour MLB hot stove where Rocco, Zach, and I at the moment will go live for an hour and we'll talk about strictly baseball. Later in the show, we're going to talk football, but this is kind of starting to shape this week with how the Ravens bye is. John Morosi with MLB Network was talking the other day and even today as well. Same message. A lot of teams are looking to see what happens with Juan Soto because then that will dictate where other guys could sign in some of those names. And I see people say it in the chats talking about Corbin Burnes, right? Or Max Fried. So let's play that part of that clip for you now to give you guys an understanding of what we could be in store to seeing here as we move forward this winter.
Left to be accounted for. Top arms, Corbin Burnes, Max Fried. What are you hearing at this hour, JP? Tell us.
Warren, I think that there are, in the case of Burnes and Fried, those are two guys that they may wait to sign until after Soto does because of the focus on him. But I want to draw the attention to Burnes and the Giants as being a really good pairing because I look at the fit there, of course. Burnes pitched for St. Mary's, so in the Bay Area, very close to San Francisco. They've tried for big-time free agents a number of times in recent years. That geographic advantage could be a really significant factor in the favor of Burnes and the Giants. But with Fried, I think it's the teams we've heard a lot about in the past. Red Sox, Blue Jays, maybe the Yankees as well. And I think that as we talk about the Soto market, which again, I expect to get resolved within the next week, look for the Burnes and Fried markets to move almost concurrent with that.
So right there, Soto is holding up everything.
Yeah.
And also you got to realize who's the agent for Corbin Burnes. Scott Boras, right? So they're going to dictate all of that. So it goes down to this. So teams that could be in on Soto, some are going to be able to say we can go after Soto and another top tier guy. Right, Zach? The reports are coming out that the Yankees and Red Sox were also into or Blue Jays were interested in Corbin and that they're willing to allocate the money for both players, but it's not the case for every team.
No. And it does. We talked about, obviously, the Yankees are a team that's involved in Corbin, involved in Max Fried. And they, from reports, believe that it's not a Soto or these guys. It could be a fact of, hey, we get both. Now, if you allocate that much money, you're going to have to take it away elsewhere. That means maybe cutting some player salary here and there. You're not going to be able to sign back some guys. But the Yankees obviously feel that they are in position to spend the money to get Juan Soto plus a Corbin Burnes, Max Fried type guys. With the situation with the Blue Jays. Same thing I kind of said last night. It's kind of John Morosi even hinted at, like the Blue Jays have met with Soto. I don't think it's kind of the same with Burnes. They've met with Burnes. Don't know if that's really something that I see Corbin Burnes moving to Canada. I don't really see that happening. But I think a team like the Yankees, if Corbin Burnes were to, we talk about with the West Coast being that bias of he's from out there, maybe we'll go home. If he comes back East Coast, if it's not Baltimore, a team like the Yankees could pay him enough to where it's like, okay, I will move to the East Coast and I will come back here to play, but it's got to be a contract, I think, big enough for him not to go out west.
Yeah, and right now, for those that don't know, we talked about this last night, and I asked you, Zach, asked Rocco, where did Corbin Burnes go to college?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's out in California. And look, he's got ties to the West Coast. And that's no knock or that he didn't enjoy being in Baltimore. But for me, if you're an Orioles fan holding your breath on Corbin Burnes, could be holding it for a while, or it might be a permanent hold.
Just thinking, I mean, the Dodgers could still be in the mix for Corbin Burnes.
They could, but they just have so many starting pitchers that if they want to do like a 6-7 man rotation, that's what it'd end up being. But they could. The Giants,
the only reason I say that is because, to your point, one of the issues that the Dodgers had last year was their starting pitching depth.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost want, it's not out of the realm of possibility is all I'm saying.
There's
If
nothing.
Corbin Burnes goes to the Dodgers, I will be outside full-on picket fence with picket line. It's just we're protesting. There will be no baseball. I will one-man protest Major League Baseball if Corbin Burnes goes, because he'd get like $300 million deferred. Like it would all be deferred, and
everything's deferred. He gets $2 million a year.
Yeah,
You know,
there we go.
but I do think the Giants guys. It'd be a gut punch to Orioles fans and to the AL in general if Corbin were to go to one of the big markets. Specifically, if he ended up at the Yankees, for instance.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole, Corbin Burnes, really good one too. Really good.
Seal too.
Exactly. Reigning rookie of the year there, who, again, you could say controversy, Colton Cowser could have won it. Keel's a really good player, really good upside for his future. That'd be a gut punch. I think the Giants make the most sense, and the reports are out there that the Giants are not in on the Soto sweepstakes, so they can even make more of a run for Corbin of saying, hey, we want you.
Yeah.
We want you to be our guy.
Well, and they got to replace Blake Snell, right? So, I mean, it makes sense if that's the route that they would end up going. It sucks all the way around as a fan just to know that the Orioles don't seem to be verbally or vocally interested in re-signing Corbin Burnes, but you kind of saw the writing on the wall anyway that this was going to be more or less a rental year for Corbin as far as the O's were concerned. I thought that this was actually an interesting topic too, and we've talked about this just off camera, Rip, about Tony Taters, and so and some speculation, just kind of like shooting some ideas around of like, hey, if Anthony Santander. Yeah. Where does he go? And if the Yankees are out on Soto, speaking of interdivision type acquisitions, could Tony be in pinstripes next year?
Yep. Zach talked about it last night too. And for fans that you want to hear it, Brad's exactly right. If the Yankees don't get Soto, they're gonna be aggressive in my mind on Tony Taters.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't they? It fits their profile. They love left-handed power there. They also love the ability to switch hit. It's a good park to hit at. It's a really good park to hit at. And I think that Tony would fit in really well with that lineup. Would that absolutely – I think that would torment Oriole fans more than Corbin leaving because of the ties that they've had with seeing Tony develop into the player that he is. But that's the reality of this situation here. That's very well could happen.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be on what happens with Juan Soto. And Rick, I saw you mention here, I like how he didn't even mention the Orioles being in on Fried. Look, the Orioles were in on Blake. They're in on Corbin, and they have interest in Max Fried. The conversation continues to go back to it here. For those that didn't tune in last night, again, it's like, let me ask you guys a question and say you didn't have any ties to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I offer you the same deal at some of these other places. What convinces you to sign with Baltimore? Is it that you have 3 Hall of Famers at the top of your lineup and you're the defending World Series champion? The Dodgers have that.
Yeah.
Blake Snell even said that in the press conference. Is it the money, the exposure of being in New York or being in Boston, where the fan bases and the commitments there that they have, plus then on sponsorships or where their families maybe want to be?
Right.
Now, we know what Baltimore provides, and we love the roster. My selling point would be, hey, look at the young roster that we have. We believe that we can be good for the next 5 to 10 years with this nucleus. We believe Jordan Westburg is going to be an all-star again. We believe the Colton Cowser is only going to get better. Adley's going to bounce back, and Gunner's going to be an MVP. Oh, and by the way, Jackson Holiday is going to start to figure it out here
at
his age, 21 years. Like, so you can sell what the Orioles can do, but it's the other component. Why come to Baltimore? We know it. I can say, hey, great place to raise a family. You got a great community, people that love it here. If you want to go down to DC, it's right down the road. 30 miles separates the cities. You can have a lot of opportunity here, but that's a hard thing to sell to somebody if you're offering the same amount of money to a player that doesn't have ties here.
And you can find that anywhere in any metropolitan city, right? Like that's not really the selling point for most people, most players that are coming to Baltimore, right? So there has to be more obviously the money has to be there too. And that's the big thing. At the end of the day, if you can pay the man, then you got to pay the man. You got to pony up. And the O's just
they would have to make they would have to make a Severino-esque offer for a guy where you're going ludicrous and go over top. And then they're like, hey, I'll take it. Like Robinson Cano a few years. Well, it's not even a few years. It's been a while now. He went out to Seattle. Right.
I think.
And it was why it's the most they offered him the biggest contract.
Right. And there's players that chase that. Mm-hmm. And I think most Orioles fans, correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, and you can weigh in on this, Zach or Rip. I think with this new ownership and the amount of money that they seemingly have, the fan base is interested to see how deep those pockets go and who they're willing to bring into the fold with that said money that they may or may not have.
Yeah, I think that's where these expectations have kind of, I don't want to say gotten out of hand, but we don't know what to expect, like you said, Brad. And people want to see, okay, what is this new ownership willing to do budget-wise? Yeah. And I think it's tough because it's the first off season. Yeah, there are these massive players out there like the Max Frieds, like the Blake Snells before he signed, Corbin Burnes, Juan Soto's. And weirdly enough, real fast, Pete Alonso's a free agent. Feel like he is not, like, people just forget he's out there as well. Yeah. Not that he'd come to Baltimore, but it's a stacked free agent class.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
I think people sometimes like what we just said with the Luis Severino. They want the Orioles to spend just because they can. And they want it to be, okay, just throw $22 million at Luis Severino, throw $30 million at Nate Eovaldi, throw $70 million at Corbin Burnes, whatever it may be. And I think sometimes fans would just rather see them spend and it not pay off rather than it not happen. It's the same thing that happened at the deadline. Everyone was like, you have to trade guys. You have to get pitchers or it's a failure. We need to trade these prospects, all that. Then they traded away Norby and got back Rogers, and everyone's like, wait, no. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hold on. I want to push back on this because I think for 2 years in a row, the O's have failed at the trade deadline.
I would say,
Zach Eflin was a great trade. Okay. Yeah. In the last 2 years, when there was opportunities to trade for some really good talent, it didn't happen. Blake Snell could have been traded for, and that definitely could have, especially for what Rogers was traded for. The Orioles got fleeced in that deal.
I agree.
We don't know.
But my point is more that it's, we all want these moves to happen, and we're like, hey, just go make a move to make a move, and then it happens, and you're like, crap, that wasn't the move I meant. So I think it's one of those similar in this fact of, right now, everyone's kind of clamoring for a move, but in the same thing, like you said, Brad, it's got to be the right move. You can't just make a move like a Rogers to make a move. You want to go get the right guy.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so here's the other part. So, by the way, also, hey, Zach Lowther, former Oriole.
How's it going?
Current friend and fan of the show and program. So, Lowther and I have talked about this a lot.
I agree
in this
with that
case,
too.
Look, like in the playoffs, if the Orioles get a couple of hits there, we're not even having this conversation. Everyone feels a lot better about it because
they just get some hits.
They would have been in the ALDS with a really good shot. They probably had the best shot to beat the Yankees because of how they matched up with them.
Without question.
Division rival.
They owned the Yankees last year.
Division rival, and it's a psychological thing. Yep, the Yankees have maybe more veterans on their roster, but if you saw what the Orioles did during the regular season, you felt very confident about
especially in New York, which was crazy.
So the thing that I wanted to get on here, and you were mentioning about with Blake Snell, it's the same conundrum that you're in with Corbin Burnes. Blake Snell was going to opt out of his deal. And so what I'm getting again from here, and this is why with the Orioles, this is the tough spot for them. They traded for Trevor Rogers for a guy that has team control. Why? They know he's not walking out the next year. Corbin Burnes, no matter what, when he got traded from Milwaukee and the Orioles, people applauded it like, hell yeah, went and got an ace. And then everything happens with Kyle Bradish. Grayson Rodriguez gets hurt. John Means goes down. Tyler Wells, things you can't control. But the Orioles made a franchise-altering move that year, knowing the fact that Corbin was going to go, hey, guys, I am testing the market no matter what. You are not going to be able to re-sign me. I'm going out there. Blake Snell would have been in the same category. Everyone that's represented by Scott Boras is in the same category.
Yeah.
Anthony Santander, the only thing that the Orioles could have done differently was before this season, before the 2024 season,
Extended.
was to say, hey, let's get this done. We want you.
Yeah.
But then as the season went on or it started, Tony, when the Orioles approached him, goes, I want to see my value. And why shouldn't he? And that's where it is. The Orioles' best chance at having these big extensions are going to be with the guys that have been with the team. Like, you can try to convince Gunnar, Jackson, hey, be legends in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's going to stem from here. And the Orioles might be better off served of trading for another guy with team control, like a Garrett Crochet, which you might have a better idea of who you'd be willing to give up. That was the other thing at this deadline, by the way. The Padres, they're like, screw prospects. Take them. Tanner Scott, you're great. Tanner Scott's a great pitcher, man. He's really come on.
Yeah.
They gave up the house for Tanner Scott. So, like, when you think about that, the Orioles were not ready to do that. They might be ready to do that this offseason or next year.
That doesn't seem like an Elias type
I think that
move, though.
But they were willing to part ways with Joey Ortiz because they knew that Jordan Westberg was their choice. So I think they have to choose who they want. And that's something that we're going to have to figure out.
And that's a good problem that they have.
It is a good problem. But what we do know is there's a lot more moves to dissect and go over and what's happening. So this is what makes it interesting. One other move, there's a rumor out there, guys, and it's a name that would be interesting if he doesn't end back at what's been his home for his entire career. That's Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
There's a report out right now, and I'll see if I can pull up that tweet for you guys. Alex Bregman, there's an offer on the table per Brian Matagart. I hope I pronounced that right. But apparently the deal is, here we go, 6 years. Wrong thing. Come on, Ryan. It's your first time on this. Well, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. But right here, nope, there it is. Whammy. MLB rumors, the Astros have offered Bregman a 6-year deal for around $156 million. So roughly, it's about what, $26 million a year is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for a guy like Bregman, man, that's
not bad at all.
Pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
And that's a good deal for the Astros too. I mean, I think that's very reasonable.
Mm-hmm. So he's a big name for a bat-wise that teams are going to want to go after. And I'll tell you what, if the people that don't get Soto, it's the same thing. He's only going to go back to Houston if that's the place he wants to be. Now, if another team goes and offers a bigger deal, I think that Bregman could go. That's a guy that I'm saying right there. He's been with the organization for so long. They have other guys they have to figure out, like Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker and some studs. Baltimore's going to have a little bit more time to figure that out, but I just thought that was interesting.
This is a great point too that Zach brings up. Says, imagine you're in these guys' shoes. You get a chance to explore the market with leverage. Baltimore gives you X amount of years and a deal, whatever. New York and LA are always going to match that or do better. It's not a hard decision for them. So I find that interesting because the only team that I could say, speaking of Bregman, the only team that I could say that it has been able to figure out how to do that differently to be able to compete with the likes of the Yankees or the Dodgers are the Astros. Mm-hmm. So I'd be curious to see how I don't know how they've been able to necessarily do it as far as that particular model goes in the Astros market. And there's only one guy that knows that better than anybody, and it is Mike Elias. So I'd be curious to see how that all shakes out. But I do see Zach's point there. He's right. You know, you can't compete with these larger markets when it comes to the almighty dollar. Just got to get creative.
And I think that's what we're going to have to figure out here is how creative that you get. But also H-Town, Houston, middle of the country. It's in Texas. People love, there's a lot of people that like going to Houston. It's in people's minds. That's what I hate. People are really just trying to tear down Baltimore. Oh, Baltimore, have you seen The Wire? Yes, I've seen The Wire. It is not, you don't walk on the street right outside and go, oh shit, you're at oh my gosh, watch out.
Yeah.
No. Like, I'll tell you what, first time I met Jamie, when Jamie came up to see me, she had no idea that there was farmland north of this, how it was described when she was in Baltimore.
Yeah, the majority of Maryland is farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, it's nice out here. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
People live here.
Yeah.
People like it here, but that's a perception that people deal with.
Johnny says Houston sucks. Trust me. Houston's I was not a fan of you. Been to Houston one time, and it's disgusting.
But the perception is H-Town is more desirable or pleasurable to people than it is
humid as fuck.
Well, I mean, it's Texas.
It's disgusting.
I mean, I will say it gets really hot here in the Mid-Atlantic and Baltimore.
Not like Houston. Not even close.
It's uncomfortably hot there.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
All the time.
Man. But we're excited about this, and we're going to have so much baseball conversation moving forward. This is where we're at. We want to answer your questions. Hell, you know what? If we run into Scott Boras at the winter meetings, maybe get a moment with him to say, hey,
yeah,
if I gave you $5, would that help towards the fund of bringing someone here?
Yeah.
Help me help you, right? You know, but it's going to be a great experience. And that's also, hopefully we get to even talk to some more insiders and executives there. And if not, it's just a great experience for us, but we'll get a better understanding. And I want to point this out. We do our homework on a lot of things here, and a lot of people have a lot of credit. So when we say things to you, it's not to say it out of that we hope it doesn't happen. We're just going off of
past experience
and understanding how things work. Like for the first time, you know, when I'm sitting here going, man, why don't the Orioles spend more? Then you're around more and you see what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I have teammates. I've had former people that tell me like, hey, this is my thought process. So it's coming straight from the horse's mouth on it. And then also you're hearing, just looking at how the logistics are. Not everyone is going to love your hometown team as much as the player that might have not have the ties there. So just to understand that, I think it's a really good conversation. And last thing I'll say, Randall and Zach, we talked about this. I think it is very possible that the Orioles trade for someone this offseason. They could.
Yes.
It's not a guarantee.
Anyone from the Mariners. Once again, I mean, obviously I've been on the soapbox for probably 6 months at this point. It is so stupid that the Orioles and Mariners are not doing business with each other, because the Mariners have just an influx, just overwhelming amount of young pitching talent and no offense. And the Orioles have all this offensive young hitting talent, and they want pitchers. So it's like, it feels like realistically, like, you know, maybe call each other.
Yeah, no, maybe you know what? Maybe we all get together. I'll be the mediator for all this.
Yeah.
Hey, let's have a conversation.
It feels like, you know, when you go to a baseball game or a football game and like outside the stadium, you have those like people that are like selling tickets, and they're like, I got 2 tickets. Who wants them? And then like 15 feet away, there's someone who's like, anyone selling tickets? Anyone? You're like, you guys should probably talk to, but they never do. That's how it feels. It's like, you guys should probably like,
you know what? We'll try to see what strings we can pull in Dallas.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
Maybe start a group chat. Ryan, get both the GM's numbers, start a group chat.
I'm asking the questions now.
Hey, guys.
We're doing the interview now.
Just wanted to introduce you guys.
It should be this time is fun. I'm really excited to see how this all is. And the last thing I'll point out with teams, different teams have different philosophies of how they go about it, right? New York, they're not afraid to spend, but they have a pretty solid farm system, right? You have teams that are just saying, hey, we don't care. LA has a good farm system, and they're willing to spend a ton, right? So there's that there. For the Orioles, though, look at how many young players that could be stars on the team. Colton Cowser could be an all-star. Jackson Holiday. Gunnar already is. So is Adley Rutschman. Jordan Westberg. Cedric Mullins, former all-star. Look at how many all-star caliber players you already have on your roster. And then the one thing is, if there's a guy like Heston Kjerstad, which, big pig suey, right?
Hey.
He could be a guy. But the Orioles got to figure out, do we want to get that guy more opportunities? And just like for this young Orioles team, if those guys take another step this year, then you don't need to go out and get all these random or big name guys. You got to go out and get the ones that can help you continue to mold this really good young nucleus. Patience. I tell people things are going to work out, and we'll be here to talk about it with you. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this Monday, Thursday, and now we have a happy hour hot stove on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7. So hope you guys can join us then. And we're also live for Ravens games, but guys, stop traffic, or before Ravens games. It's the bye week, so it's a little bit quieter on the stance of, there's no game, but holy shirts and pants. There is some drama around the team. We'll get into that in a little bit. But before we get into that, we'll have a little fun, a little break in the action here. Let's take a ride around our Adams Jeep of Maryland to talk to you about what's kind of been going on here. And first off, our friends at Adams Jeep of Maryland, it's a little bit too cold to have the top down now.
A little bit.
Safe to say. But Adams Jeep of Maryland.
Hey, there's snow on the ground in certain parts of Maryland today.
How about that?
So, you need a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You got to go to Adams Jeep to get one.
Well, and the thing that I love with Adams, by the way, and I'm seeing if I can actually, Zach, it's our favorite game. See how long it takes for video to pop up. One shining moment.
It's just typical of the Ryan Ripken Show to not have this ready to go.
3, 2, I got it.
Oh.
Whoa!
Hey, there it is.
So Adams Jeep of Maryland up there. They've been the OG sponsor for us from the beginning. Would not be where we are without them. And look, they are located 5 minutes from the Ironbird Stadium. If you need a new car, used car, you're in the market, go up there. You buy a car from them and you use the phrase, hey, I love the Ryan Ripken Show, or Rocco sucks. Tell Chuck and Matt, they'll give you $1,000 in gas money with the purchase of a vehicle. And hey, if you're looking to just upgrade your car or customize it, look no further than their Adams Extreme Motorsports, where they customize any vehicle, any model, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Honda, you name it, they will customize it. And they got a great deal going on service as well. Buy 3 tires, get the 4th one for just a doll hair. So go check out Adams Jeep of Maryland up there for all the help. Adams Jeep, we appreciate you guys. Guys, how about the damn Terps last night?
Yeah.
I honestly thought that was a typo. We finished up, Zach, and I saw you tweet out 50-17. I'm like, oh, damn. Is the women's team playing right now?
First half.
Because I felt like that's
no, wait, hold on. Are the women's team playing Mount St. Mary's College?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was a wild first half.
This Maryland team, 8-1. Their only loss is probably one of the toughest games Marquette's played. Obviously, Marquette lost to Iowa State last night. But Maryland, for a team this in College Park right now, their insane environment. It's just this Sunday playing Purdue, top 5 team in the country. They're number 6 right now.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to feel good if you're a Terps fan. Derek Queen is as advertised. He's going to be a lottery pick in the draft this year. It just feels like the offense is starting to put it together. Willard always has an incredible defense. They're always going to press. They're always going to put pressure on you there. Offense is starting to put it together. This is first off, as SVP said to start off Sports Air last night, rank them. Rank the Terps. This team needs to be ranked. I think they're like 28 right now. Put them in the rankings.
Put them in.
Last week. But fun times in College Park right now, that's for sure.
Well, and there's optimism around. Now, the biggest thing, just like when we talk about the Ravens, it's going to be how the Terps get to the NCAA tournament and get back to the Sweet 16, right? Because Maryland basketball was that one college team in this region where people gravitated towards for the last, decade since I've been growing up. 2002, when they won the national championship, Zach was 2 years old. Goodness, right? So Zach was popping bottles there for the national championship.
I was 16.
That is wild to put that.
Yeah, I was 16.
Yep, there's Zach.
I could be Zach's dad.
You might be. You know that is.
I could be Zach. Mathematically, it could be.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there's a chance. There's a chance. But for the Terps, there's a chance this team can be really good. And Kevin Willard in a press conference talked about how, hey, hopefully you come watch Derek Queen. He's not going to be here long. And he's saying, don't mean that in a way. He goes, he's a pro. He's a pro at 19 years old.
Yep.
And you can see a pro basketball player before he ends up in the NBA.
He's playing in college ball because he has to.
Yeah.
No, that's the only reason, because he has to in order to get drafted. That is it.
Yep. So we're going to see what happens there. Go ahead, Zach.
I was going to say, just all around, though, what a great day in Maryland. for just not even just the basketball program, but yesterday the football program, all the signings were there. They got Malik Washington from Archbishop Spalding, the number 11 quarterback in the class. So good to keep the local kids, even especially when you get stars around here, you want to keep them home. So great to see. He's been vital in recruiting other players. He's really all in Malik Washington. So Terps are starting to there's some optimism, Rip, as you said.
I don't know. I don't have any optimism in the football program, at least.
I mean, optimism is just the word for football. You just have to have blind optimism at this point. You see
We're on
you just gotta hope.
Yeah,
we're on 2025. It's tough. It would be so amazing if the ride.
That's the saying for the recruiting class this year. Free grandma. Because someone posted the we're not letting grandma out of the cage till Malik Washington commits to Maryland. So
oh my God, I did see that.
Yeah, his announcement, he quote tweeted and just said #free grandma. So every time someone commits, everyone just says #free grandma.
That's
free
hilarious.
grandma.
They even on last night on the Jumbotron, they put Malik on the thing and it said Malik Washington commit, and it was like the man responsible for freeing grandma was on the thing. So
that's fantastic.
That's hilarious.
So it's what I was trying to get to for the Commanders, the Ravens. If the Commanders are going to be what people are hoping them to be moving forward, and the Ravens continue to be a contending team each and every year, the region, man, it's good. It's a really good football region. The one thing it's missing is for the Terps to make that jump. Imagine then in between from Commanders, College Park to Baltimore, you had 3 places that you had teams with higher aspirations. So hopefully for Maryland, be a bounce back in 2025, but definitely a hell of a good day. And before then, we get into all of the Ravens conversation and the bye and what's going on here. Zach, we're starting a new segment. You know, we can say stuff that Zach finds on the internet, or we can just call it Zach's browsing history. Whichever you would like.
Ooh.
However you want to put it.
However you want to put it. But Zach, what are you finding on the internet today?
So we got 2 things today because one happened kind of right as we got off on Monday, but got to bring it up. First one, Eli Manning, I appreciate that he was put on this earth solely to humble Tom Brady. Like there is nothing, he was put on this earth simply to make sure that Tom Brady at every moment cannot be the center of attention. Like he just can't be undefeated. Anything Tom Brady does, Eli Manning's like, well, now I have to humble you. So this is, I thought this was incredible. The second one I saw before we hopped on here, and we got to talk about because I just don't understand. FanDuel put out a question, I guess, for people to debate. And people did not debate what they were asking. They said the better quarterback era.
Yeah.
Why is Andrew Luck in the quarterback era with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning? I'm sorry, but Andrew Luck isn't really in a quarterback era. Like they just took Ben Roethlisberger off of this and put Andrew Luck, and that's just not.
That's ridiculous.
Like
I
how
love Andrew Luck. I do. I thought he was a great player.
Andrew Luck was drafted in 2012. That's what 14 years after Brady. Like,
yeah,
these guys were at the end of their careers. I mean, now obviously Aaron Rodgers, but for them to take off Ben Roethlisberger and put Andrew Luck, who came in Andrew Luck came in 5 years before Patrick Mahomes
or Joe Flacco. You know, hey, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew Luck is like 2 years older than Jared Goff. Like.
All those names on the top of that list have Super Bowl rings, except for Andrew Luck.
Yeah. You know what? But you know what Andrew Luck does have is that whoever made that account,
a neckbeard
of General Andrew Luck. Can you pull up a tweet from that? Because that account in itself,
oh my God,
is back. And I'm with you. I would probably put in that case, you know, if it's going to be a Big Ben, he was so good for so many years. And those battles with the Ravens. And I mean, Big Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame. You even throw Eli Manning on that. Right? Like,
anybody else who's won a Super Bowl in that era, because Andrew Luck has not.
I agree,
Makes
but
no sense.
But the biggest thing recently is because Andrew Luck is back as the general manager of the Stanford Cardinal. That means Captain Andrew Luck is back. And for those that are listening in, because we put this out on Spotify and Apple, wherever you get your podcast, Captain Andrew Luck is a Twitter X account where
it's a parody account.
It's a parody account of Andrew Luck in like a general Civil War-esque outfit.
He's a Union soldier.
Soldier. And then it's speaking as if you're from that time frame. So this last tweet, dearest mother, the battleground has called for my glorious return. This is him returning as the Stanford football general manager, which is a new position, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm thrilled to say I shall heed that call. I have re-enlisted. While my sidearm is permanently holstered, I shall help train other young men to be great soldiers. Please send care packages of squirrel oil and skunk cakes to our base camp at Stanford. I love you, Andrew. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. And Zach, great job here on what we found on the internet today.
I actually have other things that we found on the internet, and this should be an opportunity for us to talk about anything outside of sports too.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. The anybody hear this craziness about the Talk to a Girl?
With the
Haley Welch
coin?
Yeah, she had this meme coin, and that apparently, was under 97% ownership of her and her constituents, and then they just dumped it all on everybody after they released it, which means that anybody who invested in this and got rug pulled. I'll say this: is it shitty? Yes. Are you an idiot for investing in this?
Thank you.
Also,
yes.
Like, if you thought it was going to be a worthwhile investment to put your money in somebody who got famous for just talking about spitting on wieners, that's on you.
That's the thing.
That is on you.
Like, people want to be upset and like, I can't believe she did this. Why did you purchase stock in that?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What did you expect to happen?
Yeah. Let's walk us through. This is the next big thing.
Right.
This is it. This is the next Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This is our ticket. First off, I mean, Bitcoin for a lot of people went up and down on believing it, but at least like the name Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, like at least like, okay, I can get behind that. If you had skepticism from the start, you can be like, all right, well, that at least fits the bill. Nothing about a meme coin, right? It was called a meme coin.
Yes.
Why would you buy a meme? It doesn't even seem real because it's not.
Yeah.
It's not real.
It's not real. It's not real. There's a couple other things that are going on in the world today. And I was talking about this with you before we went live. There was a 7.0 earthquake on the Richter scale and near Berkeley. And then now there's a tsunami warning out there. Some crazy shit happening. Also, the McDonald's is bringing back the snack wrap in 2025.
Yeah. That's the massive news. Snack wrap.
Wow. That's big news. Big news.
What was the, you know what, way off. It had nothing to do with this, but maybe because it's Throwback Thursday. I kept thinking of old, because you said the snacks coming back.
Snack wrap, yeah.
Snack wrap. I kept thinking of
just
that
a Big Mac and a tortilla.
That motto, and it was for Goldfish. The snack that smiles back. Goldfish.
Yeah.
That commercial just came back to my mind. That was a great snack.
That was a great little jingle.
It was a great jingle. So maybe for guys in the comments here on our Throwback Thursday here as we continue on, give us one of your favorite Throwback Thursday jingles.
That's so true.
I agree.
Mutombo, rest in peace.
Could not agree more.
Came back from the grave to tell us not to invest in shitcoin.
Good advice, though.
Yes. That was my PSA for today. Don't take advice from people who get famous.
Don't do it.
For talking about spitting on wieners.
And you know what, though? This is America, and that can rise, and that's great. But you also have the choice to make your own decisions in that regard.
Yeah.
In that case,
that was my advice to you, Zach, is that we doesn't have to all be sports on your surfing the web. We should just bring on all kinds of pop culture shit to talk about randomly in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I like that. Little break.
Yeah.
Little break. And the last thing I'll say when it comes to if you invested, it's, the moderator for the Billy Madison scene. when Billy described the puppy that lost his way.
Yeah.
And then he says, I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul. That is the perfect example in this case.
Yes.
You've been warned. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. That was our in-between break segment here as we keep it light. And as always, when I move, you move, Zach.
Just like that.
Just like that. And we're moving right into our next topic here. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL. Let's talk a little bit about football, right? The NFL, it's into week 14, and it's the final week of buys. And now it is the Ravens bye week. The Commanders, are two of the teams that have that final buy slot. So in general around here, it's a little bit quiet in the sense of no game on Sunday or Monday. The Commanders and the Ravens sit with the same record at 8-5. And you might think that that's crazy thinking about, the team construction. I still think that Baltimore is a better team than the Commanders, but your record is what it is. Yeah. Baltimore's 8-5, Commanders are 8-5. There might not be a game, guys, but there was some drama. And it started off with the end of week 13 specifically, where Rashad Bateman got hurt. And all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of Nelson Aguilar and Tylan Wallace. And I remember I was looking up and going, man, that's another deep shot to Aguilar. Oh, that's another deep shot to Aguilar. They must be leaving him alone. And they might have, or it's because those guys were playing more because Bateman was out. The guy that wasn't playing, Diontae Johnson. And people were wondering what the hell is going on. Why isn't Diontae Johnson playing? And people were criticizing John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens for not putting Diontae in the game. Well, news broke yesterday. And I'll pull up the tweet here for you guys to see. I just had it. I'm a good kid. The wrong one. There it is. So Eric DaCosta then released a statement saying we have made the difficult decision to suspend Diontae Johnson for our upcoming game against the New York Giants for conduct detrimental to the team. Diontae's suspension stems from refusing to enter our game against the Philadelphia Eagles. We will have no further comments on this matter going forward. So, guys.
The comments next to that are hilarious.
Oh, man. It is.
The people that are coming to Diontae Johnson's defense is kind of alarming. I mean, he refused to come into the game. So regardless of what was going on, directly disobeying, being insubordinate to your head coach or to whoever, the, coordinator, whatever, that's to be expected. Like, and also, this is typical Diontae Johnson behavior.
So
unfortunately,
so to give people a little bit of context, at least on my side, as from the athlete's perspective, because I've been in situations where, playing through the minor leagues and you feel it's a business and they're making a decision on who plays and it's your career on the line, but you're trying to make the most of it. And every athlete, and it doesn't even have to be professional, you've probably been in a situation, whether it's at work, whether it is playing a sport, where you think you deserve that opportunity. You should be in there. And for Diontae Johnson, fair to say, guys, he's on the Ravens team. He's probably one of the most talented wide receivers, skill-wise. Skill-wise. But he's got to learn the offense. He's the new guy coming in, and he has to fit what works with the system.
Correct.
So,
and I'll say this. I don't mean to interrupt. I'll say this. There have been chances that Diontae Johnson has been given, and he squandered them. A lot of drop passes, a lot of missed assignments, routes weren't run right. There's a lot of miscues.
So let me finish my point of this. So Diontae, you might feel that you deserve and you can make an impact, and he probably can.
Yeah.
But that's not the issue here. The issue is, despite your standing or your frustrations, it's refusing to go in because you're mad about a situation. I've had times, and I've had other players, Zach, that have been pissed off about, they think they should have been playing, but when they get called upon, you got to go in, regardless of their situation or how they feel, they went in. Why? And this is my biggest thing as a player. I owed it to the rest of the guys on the team. Regardless of how I felt about a situation, I owed it to the other guys that were busting their ass to go out there and help, because the Ravens, they're fighting for a common goal here to win a Super Bowl. Their jobs are also on the line here. So it's bigger than you. And then the other part of it is we're talking about opportunity. And Brad, this was to your point. Hey, Diontae, this is a chance to prove your opportunity right then and there. And you're saying, nope, I'm good. And I'm not saying it would have made a difference in this game. Might have not at all. But, man, you just squandered an opportunity to prove your value with a new team. And all of a sudden now the Ravens are dealing with the suspension. And you're kind of wondering what the footing's going to be, Zach, moving into week 14 and beyond.
Yeah, that's the part that confuses me the most is this was his opportunity. You know, if you want to prove that, hey, you believe you are one of, if not the most talented wide receiver skill-wise on the team, here's your opportunity. Go out there, win every rep, put the tape on and show, hey, I know this offense. Hey, I can make this impact. I can be this guy for you guys. There's your opportunity. You know, if you're worried about, hey, this is a contract year for me, I need to be making the most of this, I need to be on the field. Okay, Rashad Bateman's down. Here is your opportunity, because if you weren't getting it before, how is telling them, no, I'm not going out there going to get you another one? You know, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what happens behind the scenes, but it's one of those things that you look at from our perspective, and it's mind-boggling, because it's like if your whole grudge against what was happening was you weren't getting the opportunity, why squander the opportunity? Why, when you are given it of, hey, Rashad's done for the game, you can go be our number 2, our number 3, go out there and help the team. I feel like that's a situation where he should have been like, hey, I'm going out there and I'm going to bust my ass to prove that, hey, I am this guy that can help the team.
And the other thing here with Diontae, and the frustration is he wants to prove for a contract, right? He wants to prove that he's worth the money. Tell you what, that's why he's probably more frustrated. How can I go out and prove for my own sake? And again, it's your business. His contract, it's his business, it's his life, livelihood's on the line. I feel and empathize with that, Brad.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is, again, it's bigger than that. It's two separate conversations. Regardless of how you feel, it's how you conduct yourself. If you conduct yourself in the way that you hope, and who knows, we're not going to get the full story on this, but maybe Diontae deserves more chances, but we're not at practice. Maybe Diontae isn't doing those things in practice, and that's why he's not playing. Could be a combination of things. You know what's interesting to me? You know, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers let him go.
Yeah.
And usually I look at organizations that do a great job of evaluating guys that they have. And if they really felt like they found like they had a replacement in George Pickens and they feel like they could bring somebody else in and be fine, that's another telling sign, Brad. Now it's his third team in a year.
Yeah.
And that's no knock to it. Carolina was giving them away for free. But I just hope, man, they're grown men, but I hope they figure it out. But it's not a great feeling here going into this bye week, going into week 14 that Diontae is going to fit. Not saying he's not going to, but so far it's not fitting.
Well, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens after this suspension. So, like, is he going to play ball, so to speak, pun intended?
Good pun.
You know, or not. And so that's kind of where I'm at with it as far as like this whole situation. Like, does anything get fixed over this suspension? Is it an opportunity for him to be like, all right, I need to like get my shit together, or is he still going to just dig his heels in and be a dick about it? I mean, obviously it seems like the ball's in his court, like it's under his control and how he handles this. But you know, five targets to one reception since coming to Baltimore, and I would make the argument that a lot of those targets were balls that he should have caught or been in the right spot to catch. So I just don't. I don't. To me, this feels like something that I don't know if I can defend Diontae Johnson for, based on what I know.
You know, the one thing, I see it all the time on social media when they say that when quarterbacks tweet or athletes tweet certain things, and for quarterbacks, you know where I'm going with this, Zach, where they're like, hey, you know, it's clear as day and you understand what they're saying. Then wide receivers write something where it's very
The
cryptic.
enemy speaks kindly but holds a knife.
That's it. Then you're like, well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
That's like when I go back to that Kanye West Kobe Bryant commercial when it's like, are you a different animal but the same beast? And he's like, what the F's that mean, Kobe Bryant? You're welcome. Like you're sitting there and you're scratching your head. I think that's this whole situation. You're scratching your head. That's the bigger thing, Brad. That's the point of it. Regardless of how Diontae feels, and you got to look at the reputation that the Ravens have had.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, too, and just being in those situations, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than your team. And you are making it bigger than the team, and that's the problem.
Right.
And the Ravens right now are already dealing with things, right? I mean, like, obviously, Justin Tucker's trying to work through things. There was that article that came out about, everything looks good. That the Ravens staff, as far as the hold, the snap, everything looks in sync. It's Tucker's got to have to figure some things out.
Yeah.
And in Baltimore, Brad, was the first time that Ravens fans actually saw the Tucker vulnerable in person, right? There's a lot of those misses in Pittsburgh. A lot of those fans are watching it on TV, and it was almost like it can't be real.
Yeah.
In Baltimore at M&T Bank, it became real. It became, wow.
Yeah.
A guy that we always depended on to make every single thing, to save the Ravens, to come through whenever you needed him. It's like it's not there right now.
Well, and for me, there's still nobody that I would trust more than Justin Tucker with the game on the line.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I feel like every freak athlete goes through this, and it's just taken a lot longer for Justin Tucker to meet this point of adversity. Whereas, like, there's plenty of goats, so to speak, that have had down years or slumps like this. And I think that's just where Justin Tucker is. I have all the faith in the world that he'll get that figured out. But you do have to wonder too, like, is it all on him? And if it is, okay, fine. But I think that there's still more questions than answers.
Yeah, I think that's very, very much true. A lot more questions than answers. And the reality is the Ravens are going to need some answers. And by answers, it's results on the field. That's what they're going to need here. They're sitting at 8-5, 4 games left. They're going to need Pittsburgh to lose some games. Pittsburgh's got a tough schedule down the stretch, but Pittsburgh's been finding different ways to win. And we'll talk a little bit about the hard knocks at the end of it. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show live every Monday and Thursday. Wednesdays, we also are live when the Ravens are playing. And Kevin and Zach Reacts, they react to the Ravens, the Orioles, and anything that Zach goes, stop traffic, I'm going live for. So check that out, a part of the Ryan Ripken Media. But to close out the last chapter on last week's game, Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee Show today, AQ Shipley joined, and you guys saw that press conference about Lamar Jackson saying his mom really busted his ass for what he thought he could have done better.
Cussed him out.
And then AQ Shipley, though.
Cussed him out for not running.
Exactly. And AQ Shipley talks a little bit more about, it gives a fun twist to it and saying that, you know what, maybe Mama was right about the whole thing. Mama knows ball. So let's play that clip.
From AQ Shipley says, Lamar's mom knows ball. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that, AQ Shipley?
Well, we all saw the press conference after, and Lamar said he got a text from his mom, said, hey, we need to run the ball more. So let's take a look at why. I pulled 3 clips. These are moments in the past where Lamar pulls this thing down. Pause it right there. You see that lane? Yeah. You see anybody? That is where he takes off and gets you at least 10. That is going to be at least a first down. But he's trying to let things progress. Almost throws the interception. Whoa. Run. Use your strengths. You are electrifying. Do what you do.
He said he's trying to let plays develop, though, like most quarterbacks do. And if they're protecting him well, I think he feels obligated to do as such. But he said he's going to get back to his shit. He's going to get back to his shit is what he said.
And I'm excited to see that shit. Because when he is running, listen, if the first option, maybe second option's there, throw it. It's great. If it's not, I'll take my chances with him in the open field.
He's got to say you can outrun people. How is he supposed to get 60-yard plays if you don't let the play develop? Going to have to run that far.
Yeah.
Have
we seen that? Have we seen Lamar run 60 yards? Remember the play against Cleveland 4 or 5 years ago?
Listen,
Boom.
I want to see Lamar.
spin, see a 50 yards touchdown.
I want to see Lamar run more too.
Yeah.
I think it is like a very spectacular thing whenever he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
But I do completely understand where he's like, well, I'm supposed to be waiting for this play, and I'm being protected because they don't want to rush me because of who I am. So I think he has his eyes downfield instead of just back in the day where he was looking to make the play. So that's a tough thing to balance, I think, for him. I think that's going to be a tough thing for him to kind of figure out. What we would like to reiterate to him is like, when you're running with the ball, Lamar, it's better than any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of the game.
Anything
exactly
else
right.
that's going to happen anywhere, you with the ball in your hands is going to be better than whatever.
The end of the game before the likely last touchdown, when it was to make it 24-19, he ran for like 60 or 50 yards, and it was unbelievable just to watch him do that shit.
Yeah. And the other thing is, too, they're normally protecting the hell out of them. They normally are. This game, they were not. I mean, listen, these guys right here.
Wrecked.
I mean, they were getting after it. I mean, all game long, and they did a great job of trying to see how they're trying to keep them in the pocket and then never go past them, right? They're trying to always keep them there. But in that instance, I'm still taking my chance with Lamar running right down the middle of the field.
Yeah, and he also, he got thinner, right? This is the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So can't be taking too many shots. So.
Here's another one here. You're going to pull the guard here. Pull the guard, pull McCarry, right? Boom. Step back inside. Now you got back turned. You got man coverage there. You got man coverage there. You tell me, boys. Is he getting something there?
Yeah. 53 and a third, probably. Yeah, this is what Lamar's mom was talking about.
That's exactly it.
So it's interesting, and we've discussed this more in length, Brad, with Zach and I on Monday.
Yeah.
And I get it for Lamar, right? He wants to try to look down the field, make more plays down the field. And that's the evolution of being a playmaking quarterback through the air.
Yep.
Is can you make a big play? And he's had some of those plays already from waiting back. The improvisation from Lamar Jackson is second to none when it comes to that. But the one thing that he does better than anybody else is when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
I haven't seen another runner like him. And I think that's the point that everyone's just trying to bring back is that what everyone wants to criticize him, that it's not going to last for so long, his style's not going to last. That component of his game is what makes him so special, Zach, right? Like that's what makes Lamar Jackson. He can beat you through the air, but if you give him a sliver of hope here and that much space, he's going to make you pay. And he actually did it a lot against the Chiefs. He was running for his life.
Yeah.
And he was frustrating the hell out of them. They're going, how the hell does he keep doing this? Because he's Lamar Jackson, Zach. Because he is one of the most physically talented players the league's ever seen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we sit here and over the past, especially this year, we've raved about his strides he's made in the passing game and him as a passer, how everyone's talked about how it seems like he just keeps getting better and better. And in the passing game, it feels like the Ravens have never been better. But like you said, sometimes he has to understand again that you are the most electrifying player to ever step foot in this game, in this league. He is one of those guys where, like Pat McAfee, like AQ Shipley just said, if the guys aren't there, I like Lamar Jackson's chances of making a guy miss and getting the first down himself over, hey, let's just chuck it down there and see if someone can make a play. We've seen that work with guys like Mark Andrews, where he's put on perfect passes for that touchdown to Andrews, stuff like that. But if Lamar Jackson has a running lane, I want, as a fan, Lamar Jackson to go take that opportunity because, like his mom said, like Lamar's even pointed out, if it's there, I think Lamar 9 times out of 10 is going to make it happen.
Yeah, and Brad, to go on to it, earlier in that Ravens-Eagles game, that touchdown to Mark Andrews, that was a improvisation and making a play with his arm, right? But in this case where, as the game went on, the team was struggling for a play. And Zach and I mentioned about you're looking to make that big play, and sometimes, though, it's just little by little pickups here. And he can make a difference in the game. That's the biggest part besides just trying to make a play down the field.
But I think this season, it's one of the big reasons why I just personally on the eye test actually don't know what the stats are on this, but I've personally seen Lamar take unnecessary sacks because he's waiting for the progression of the play rather than just taking off and running whenever he wants to. So I'm kind of like with AQ here, like the first 2 reads aren't there, just be Lamar. I would say that like almost kind of make the argument too that he hasn't been quite as electrifying since Todd Monken has come onto the organization. And this isn't an indictment on Todd Monken. I'm just saying, like, I think that because Todd Monken sees the talent that Lamar has with his arm, that and now that there's more weapons to complement that talent, that there's just been a lot more pass plays, and Lamar hasn't had to do as much. But I think that balance is going to be a super challenging time for Lamar because of that. Like, it's almost like a good problem to have. He's got a lot of options, and each play he's going to have to determine which is the best option. So it's a tough place to be, even though it's a really good place to be.
Here's one thing. Here's a stat during that win streak for Baltimore, winning those 5 games. Then they lost that game to Cleveland. He ran 8 times for 46 yards. During that 5-game win streak, Lamar Jackson had only 1 game where he had below 50 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And it was 40. And they beat the Commanders. But he ran 11 carries is what they're saying. In this period, since that loss to Cleveland, and yes, they won those games against Denver and Cincinnati, right? You got the job done. You didn't need to run. Lamar, prior to that, the last game for the Eagles, where that longest run that they talked about, that 50, 60-yard run.
Yeah.
He had, going into that last play, he had, I think, roughly 15 to 20 rushing yards until that big play. He finished with 79 against the Eagles. Every other game, Lamar only had maximum yards he had was 46 on the ground. So I'm not saying Lamar has to run for 50, but I'll tell you, when we're looking at stats, when Lamar does run for 50, the Ravens have won. The only game that the Ravens have lost this year where Lamar Jackson ran for over 50 yards was the first week against the Chiefs, where he ran for 122. 122. I think there's a correlation, though. He makes plays happen.
Yeah.
And he's not always going to need it, but when the Ravens need it, it makes all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's because it puts so much pressure on the defense. Even when he's not running, the fact that he is running is going to put pressure on the defense, because the second he breaks one off for 15 or 20 yards, the rest of the game, the defense has to sit there and go, we can't allow that to happen. So now you're putting spies. Now you're not actually sending pressure. You're more just playing contain. So many things go into it because they have to try to counter that. So it just opens up so much more for the offense to do if Lamar takes those opportunities.
For sure. No doubt about that. But for the Ravens, hey, look, I love the fact, hey, your family's going to give it to you straight. Your close ones are going to give it to you straight. You got to get down and run the ball. And you know what I love for Lamar? He was pissed after the game. Like, he kept it light, but he was like, I want it to be the Giants week right now.
Yeah.
I want to play. Lamar is motivated, and I guarantee you when the opportunity presents itself in the future, he's going to be ready. He is damn if you do, damn if you don't, though. People are going to criticize him either way, but it's just a reminder. The only thing that I want to say is, hey, play the game you want to play, but also no one can play the game that you can play. That's how I want to kind of look at it for Lamar Jackson. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday and Thursday and Wednesday for MLB Hot Stove Happy Hour action. And then on Sundays when we are getting ready for Ravens games or whenever they play, not playing this weekend. So we're kind of hanging out. So it's a good time for us to bring up then, what do the Ravens need to do, or what it looks like odds-wise for them to still win the division. So I think it's a perfect time, guys, to take a trip to our sponsors at Hollywood Casino up at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Even with your herding, Brad, you're sounding good, man.
I appreciate it.
Sounding good. But our sponsor, Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races in West Virginia, appreciate everything they've done for us, and they have now proudly partnered with ESPN Bet with big time. It's going to their sports book there. We're going to be back up there to do a lot more festivities and activities. But if you join the Penn Play app and then you join ESPN Bet, you put a $10 deposit down, you get $50 in Penn Play cash. You add the code Penn Builder to that account, you get another $50 in Penn Play cash. Offer ends at the end of this year. So appreciate everything from Hollywood Casino up at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Zach, I appreciate your efforts back there, buddy.
Thank you.
You're a
And real fast, just because I just saw Bleacher Report just post this. Bill Belichick interviewed for the UNC job.
Oh,
Who?
Yeah, Bill Belichick for the UNC job. That would be interesting.
yeah. Why would he do that?
I don't know.
That's very.
It's not like there's not
interesting.
NFL vacancies already this year.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
You
I mean,
know
it
what?
could just be like a hey, you know.
Test
I mean,
the
a
water.
lot of the internet saying that's where his girlfriend goes to school as a joke, but like I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not going to. But yeah, because I was like, oh, this has to be a fake account, and then I clicked on it. It's the actual Bleacher Report account, 22.5 million followers. Bill Belichick has interviewed for UNC head coaching position.
That is wild.
Yeah.
that would
And,
be
you know,
something.
then they fired Mac Brown, as we know.
And also, like, why would he want to go to the ACC? I don't know.
That's what I just don't understand any of that.
It's a really puzzling interview request or whatever he decided to do. That's
Very interesting.
weird. Oops.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But I would say we're gonna have to see what plays out. It's interesting if the NFL is saying we're done with the Bill Belichick era, of being coaching. That's the only reason I'd see him go. Or he's like, I want a different venture. But it feels like Bill's an NFL guy. Like that's just what it feels like. He'd want an opportunity in the NFL one more time. But if it's not there, he's a football guy. So then maybe college football would be the option for him.
Go to the SEC.
Could he get a job though? Strictly being like, or not a job. I could see him getting like, not even recruits, transfers, just simply being like, I'm coaching here 2 years. Like, who wants to come play for Bill Belichick? Like,
Yeah, like, I just don't. I mean,
I just don't see Bill
you want
Belichick
a shot at
recruiting.
winning a national title. It's not with UNC,
Yeah,
No,
and
but
his
you could have a
recruiting
lot
is-
of NIL money coming in there.
I guess.
Ooh, that have to be it. Are they like?
I don't know. UNC though,
Like
that's-
a Colorado kind of situation.
well, Colorado, you're gonna have to get some donors to come in there because that wasn't they were hurting to get that type of money, right? Even though being the university, the state university, UNC's got a lot of alumni there, right? With a lot of ties. The ACC, it's interesting, but also because of the fact that it's the ACC and UNC has it's still a place that people hold in high regard. It's not a football university per se, but it's a really good university.
Yeah,
People love Chapel Hill, man.
You got taken behind the woodshed last night by Alabama on the court, but that's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. Rocco makes a good point for once. UNC has that Jordan money. They do have that Jordan connection. So I'm just saying.
I guess it would make no sense.
UNC just is an interesting choice to come back to.
It would be, and we'll have to figure it out here as it moves, but that's the story out there right now. For now, Bill Belichick's going to keep going and talking about NFL football until he doesn't, and we'll see what other job openings happen at the end of the year. But, guys, to finish out at least where we stand with the divisions and what the Ravens need to do or overall in the AFC, because there are going to be some coaching openings. We already know that there is some already, but Houston's favored to win that division, over 1,000 odds. Unless they completely implode, they own the tiebreaker over the Colts. Pittsburgh is minus 160 for odds. Baltimore is at plus 130. So it's not terribly.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Like Vegas thinks that Baltimore's got a very solid chance when you think about, it's still plus money, but it's not.
Steelers have a tough schedule still.
Mm-hmm.
The schedule favors Baltimore.
It favors Baltimore.
The Ravens could win.
But Pittsburgh has that voodoo magic. They still have the cheat codes you use for video games.
But they did lose to the Browns, so they're not invincible.
They're not invincible. But you know what? They'd find a way to beat the Eagles just because that's just how they work. Something crazy happens. And we're sitting here going, what the hell? How'd that happen? Pittsburgh. Philly the Chiefs minus 1,900 to win the AFC. They play the Chargers this Sunday night. If they win that game, it's done, right? So that's kind of that. And then
that's a good point.
We move into, if it helps that the Ravens still have a game facing Pittsburgh, Here's the thing. Here's the way for Baltimore to win the division. It's either Pittsburgh has to lose 3 of their last 4 and Baltimore wins out.
Yep.
Or Pittsburgh has to lose 2 games, but it has to be 2 divisional games and 1 has to be versus Baltimore.
Which can still happen.
And the Ravens, once again, would have to win out. So in that case, Pittsburgh has to play Cleveland at home and they play Cincinnati at home. They're going to have to drop one of those games, and then Baltimore has to beat them. If they do that, the Ravens, so long as they beat Cleveland at the end of the season, would own the divisional tiebreaker.
I don't think they sweep Cincinnati.
It would be great if Cincinnati did something.
Yeah.
It would be great. I've heard they got a good offense, but I've also heard that their defense is just straight.
It's terrible.
Mm.
But I feel like they could lose 4 out of these last 5 games. I think they could. Like, it's very, very possible that
The
happens.
Steelers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's going to make it even more mind-boggling when they somehow go 5-0.
Yeah, like it's just get ready for it. Get ready for it in general.
Ravens, their remaining schedule.
Giants, Pittsburgh,
Right.
Houston.
I will be betting money on Steelers Chiefs 10 in a tie.
All the last 4 games for the Ravens are very winnable.
I mentioned when I said it on Monday, the Ravens have beaten the Eagles. I thought there was a very clear path that they were going to run the table and finish at 13-4. Now they got a legit chance to be 12-5. It's going to be very hard for them to get the number 1 seed. Now that was where
That's out.
it's not. It's done. But that was their last chance.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, Buffalo already clinched their division because that division.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's, man, they're surging right now, guys. They are playing really well. Josh Allen, because of those moments, he's now being lifted up higher into the MVP conversation. I would believe right now that people are going to vote. He would get their vote.
Yep.
And he's played great, been unbelievable. Dan Orlovsky then, Brad, went a little bit further and said if Buffalo was to get the 1 seed, because they got a legit chance to get it, beating Kansas City, being a game back from them right now, Dan's pretty convinced if Buffalo gets the number 1 seed, he knows who's coming out of the AFC. So let's give that a listen.
Allen beginning right now.
Most important 10-week stretch of his career. It is a legacy-defining 10-week stretch of his career. I know one thing. Since 2022, he's got the most touchdowns in the NFL, and it's not even close. I know the second thing, that in the playoffs, he's going to ball out. Every time he plays in a playoff game, it's 320 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks over the course of that stretch. They got to win. Enough of the conversation of Josh was great, but they lost. They got to win. I understand it's a team game. If Buffalo gets the 1 seed and you got to go through Orchard Park to get to New Orleans, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. Okay, this is a legacy-defining stretch for Josh Allen. They're the best team. The teams they got to go through and the people they have to go through aren't necessarily on the top of their game. It's the most balanced offense he's ever been a part of. It could be the most complete team he's ever been on. Change the legacy.
Okay. So Dan is convinced if they win that, they get the number 1 seed, Buffalo is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. But this is where the conversation is going to jump into with you guys. I think that for the first time, really that I can remember, there is no alpha to me in the AFC.
Oh.
Like last year, the alpha was Baltimore. Baltimore was head and shoulders the best team in the AFC. I think Buffalo's really good. They're playing with a lot of confidence, but I could see a possibility of 4 different teams making it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I could see wild card teams upsetting the top teams. I think it's way wide open here. And I know that the Bills beat the Chiefs. Their last win, again, snow game in Buffalo. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough place to play. The San Francisco 49ers are a shell of who they are. So I'm not sold that despite that huge win that Buffalo is this head and shoulders team above everybody else. I don't know what you guys think. Brad, I could start with you. I think that yes, if Buffalo gets number 1 seed, that's their best chance. But under no circumstance am I going to say that they're going to go there. I think that this AFC is truly going to be maybe a 4 or 5 team race.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The Bills are an incredible team, and there isn't a team in the AFC right now that is hotter than the Bills. But we have also seen that the Ravens can beat the Bills and beat the shit out of them. We've also seen teams like Houston beat the Bills. Like I'm not saying that the Bills are the same team that lost to Houston and Baltimore.
Yep.
But they are beatable, and there's just as much talent on some other teams. And the Chiefs always somehow figure out ways to win. They didn't win against the Bills in Orchard Park this year, and the Chiefs are not the same team as they were in years past. I will give you that. But for whatever reason, there's some juju over there as well that allows them to pull some horseshoes out their ass and win games. I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. They should win out. That Detroit game is going to be interesting. But I think there's a lot of teams that can go in there that have setups to play in cold weather ball. The Steelers come to mind as well. I'm not even just going to talk about the Ravens. I think the Steelers can go into Orchard Park and win a ball game. When I'm looking at teams that can go in there and win, there's a few. It's not even just one that could go in there and take on the Bills and be competitive and possibly win a game in Orchard Park.
Zach, what says you?
Yeah, I agree. I think if the Bills get the 1 seed, they are the favorites to go represent the AFC, but I'm not crowning them the second they get the 1 seed that they're going to run away with this. Because like Brad said, there are teams that are built to compete in the weather. This isn't like the NFC where you're looking at it. It's a lot of these, hey, we can air it out. We've seen in recent years the NFL be more air it out. These top teams are just putting up 50 points a game, throwing for 500 yards. Unfortunately for the Bills, I don't know if being in the cold and being in the snow really is that big of an advantage. Maybe their players are a little bit more used to it, but the Chiefs, we've seen their run game, their defense, that's not going to stop them. The Steelers, like you brought up, Brad, I don't see that stopping them from changing up how they play ball.
And hey, I mean, look,
yeah,
I'll be the one to say it. The Broncos are also on a heater, and they have a defense that can play in cold weather.
And they got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is the Broncos have nothing to lose.
They can fuck around and win some games.
And that's what I'm saying with this year. Like, and you know what?
Okay,
Again,
don't take I feel like you get forgotten about. The Texans going into this year were a team that people were picking because of CJ Stroud and all that to win the Super Bowl. This team, if you allow them to get hot, you allow Joe Mixon to start taking over a game. Their offense is incredible. They got an underrated defense. That's another team that if they just get hot, I agree, Rip. There's no team in the AFC that I look at right now and I go, yep, that's the team that's going to represent the AFC. I feel like each week it changes.
I mean, and you're telling me that the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh leadership
for it,
that defense can't make an impact and go out and win a game on the road.
Yeah.
Look, and that's what I'm saying. And right now, these odds, and again, brought to you by our sponsor, Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Buffalo is the favorite, plus 120 or plus 200. Kansas City plus 250 to win the conference. Baltimore has the third best odds at plus 460. And then there's a huge gap after that. Pittsburgh, Houston, and LA are all plus 1,000 or higher. So even Vegas isn't sold that Pittsburgh is going to be there, but I do think Pittsburgh is a different team with Russell. I think that they can lose to everybody. They can lose to anybody. We've seen that.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a little bit of a different feel that I've had with Pittsburgh in years past. There's a little bit more belief that they can actually go and beat a solid team.
Yep.
I'm not saying that they are better than the Bills or the Chiefs, or I think the Ravens are a better team with who they have, but Pittsburgh's going to be there. And so I, as a fan, I love it. But if you're a fan of a certain team, man, it's going to be a stressful postseason.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some chaos. And quite frankly, it's probably good that the NFC has the juggernauts like Lions, Packers. That's a huge game tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that's a phenomenal game.
Hey, I mean,
and then the Eagles.
a Steelers Ravens AFC Championship game again.
Oh, that'd be great, but in Baltimore, and
it won't be in Baltimore though.
Well, if the Ravens,
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't know if it'll be in Baltimore, but you know what? The NFL needs that. That's what the NFL needs.
NFL needs to have it back.
Yeah.
They need it back. So we'll see. And also, by the way, if you're wondering about the odds in the NFC, 3 of the 4 top teams are for odds. It's the Lions at 1 at plus 150, Eagles at 250, Packers 700, Vikings 1,000. So 3 of the 4 teams are in the NFC North, and 2 of them are going to have to go on the road out the gate. Yeah. It's going to be a fun postseason, and we're only 5 weeks away, which is crazy to think here. This shit is bananas, Zach.
BANANAS.
NAS, baby. So if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday, Thursday, Ravens game days, and then we have our hot stove happy hour on Wednesdays, which we hope you guys will join us. And a reminder, Brad and I are heading down to Dallas for the winter meetings coming up on Sunday. We're going to have more content and exposure through that, and we'll let you know when we know that things are happening. So it should be a lot of fun. Guys, it's actually been a pretty well-oiled show. Even though Brad's been under the weather, fantastic job behind the scenes.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Zach, wherever you are.
Middle of Ohio. I will say, vibes are down here. I'm in Columbus. Horrible after that Michigan game. You just go outside. There's just depression in the air.
Yeah, you know who loved that was Vespi. Vespi loved the fact.
Oh, he also loved last night. He was talking. Oh man, I thought it was hilarious because somebody, I literally got 2 responses. One was Nick Vespi saying, "Absolutely love this," and then another guy was an Ohio State fan, and he was like, "This is the worst day of my life," or whatever. I clicked on his profile picture, and in his bio it says like Ohio State, like class of 27, and then the next sentence is Nick Vespi supporter. And I was like, oh, he has no clue they're on opposite sides of this right now.
Oh, goodness. Vesp. Yeah, Vesp loves the Wolverines, man, with Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get him. I got to see what's going on with him. Get him on the show. Get him on the program.
Yeah.
I think baseball season will find more time. And actually, it should be this off season. We'll get some guys on here, have some fun. Do we... I'm trying to think. I don't think we're gonna have a Nick Moore today. He's being busy. Do we do time for call-ins?
We can.
What are we thinking? Will we have interest in call-ins for a little bit? Bark in the chat if you were feeling that. We could open it up for 10 minutes and roll with it.
Yep. I will say that I am running on fumes.
Yes,
so
we can do that. And actually, by the way, I'm going to try to bring the Gridiron Golf there. We're trying to get some games. We got the game we're sending to Steve. And Gridiron Golf, they're going to come on here and explain before the holidays, Brad, of how the game works. There's different variations of the ways that you can play. And it is a hell of a lot of fun here. So we're going to have so many more things with Gridiron Golf coming your way. And it's a great gift for the holidays. And I think we got to get that going for the tailgating for that Ravens-Steelers game. No doubt about it. Cannot wait. Yeah, let's hop it on. We see that. Rick, yeah, why not? And in Arkansas, we didn't have our facts on Monday. So we might as well have a little more, with Joe. And then we can boogie on out of here. Try to think about any other throwback Thursday stuff, guys. I told you guys what.
I'm trying to look that, see if anything else is happening on the hot stove right now.
The stove.
It's definitely on, that's for sure.
Yeah, the stove is definitely on. You know what? I keep thinking about listening to the Jukebox AI on my Instagram where SpongeBob is singing Drake and Josh. I know Patrick Starr. It's just on my mind. I found a way. Oh, we had people just pop right in just like that, Zach.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Who we got first?
Yeah,
also,
K-Mac.
real fast, Jerome Bettis' son is officially signed with Notre Dame. That's
there you go.
good for him.
Powerhouse. I'd go there instead of Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Right, Nick? All right, let's do K-Mac.
K-Mac.
What's up, boys?
K-Mac.
How's it
How you
going?
doing? Happy Thursday, man.
It's going. Happy Thursday. We're almost there. It feels like the shortest weeks are the longest when you come back from a holiday, and just like, man, I'm gonna tell you, seeing that inbox when I came back, I was like, I need another.
Brutal.
Yeah, should Monday be like some sort of like happy
half day.
medium.
You get a half day. I think you should show up Monday after Thanksgiving at like 12.
Yeah. Or you start at 10, go to 2, or go to 12 and call it a day. Something like that. You know?
I did the pro move. We have like a telework agreement with my job where you can do like 1 day a week. And so I picked Monday as my telework day because I'm like soft launch the week, get back into, So I know that you guys have other people that want to call in. Wanted to talk about the very stupid rule that they were suggesting for baseball. I think I haven't seen anybody that's supporting it.
Well, I will say this, K-Mac. Who's the CEO of the Savannah Bananas? What's his name? The creator?
Jesse.
Yeah, he was all about it because that's where they got the rule from. The Golden Bat rule came from the Banana League.
You don't say.
And that's how this all came to be.
I think there might be some bias
So
there.
he is in support. He is in support of that. So that's the only influencer, quote unquote, that I've seen have come out and actually be in favor of this. So that should tell you a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if Laura, if you're not aware of the Golden Bat rule, I'll explain it real quickly. It is essentially saying a proposal, it's just buzz. There's no actual proposal that they're going to put into motion. Essentially saying anybody in your lineup 1 time per game, you can call on the Golden at Bat rule and you can send anybody in your lineup to go hit. So even if they're not up in that order, say you wanted Gunnar Henderson up and it's the 8 hitter, but Gunner's batting second. Hey, I want Gunnar Henderson to hit for this 1 time only. It's nuts.
It's stupid.
It's nuts.
It's stupid.
It's a reason why you have a batting order 1 through 9. I know that they're trying to entertain a different audience, but you're either going to love or hate baseball. You can't change the bones of the game. Like in the NFL, you're trying to make it safer.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, you're changing the bones of the game. No, you're not. You're still scoring touchdowns, but you're trying to make the game safer. For baseball, you can keep the structure the same. Why? Because the game is about failing. It's about these moments that you are unexpected. They're unpredictable. You can't change the structure. That's just me. I'm getting all worked up.
I didn't mean to work you up, Rip.
Yeah, you did. It's okay. It's okay, K-Mac.
So here's the part of the reason why I bring that up is as long as we're getting stupid and arbitrary rules,
yeah,
I would like to suggest my stupid and arbitrary rule that I've had for a while, because if we're going to open it up, why not? So I would entitle this the Albert Bell rule, and it'll become abundantly clear why.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this.
If a batter is hit by a pitch, they can either elect to go to first the way that they do now, so you can keep the base of the rule the same, or they can defer to the manager and say, send somebody else to the bag. I get a fresh count and I get to bat again.
Ooh.
And the reason that I like that is because at that point, it deters pitchers from plunking a guy because you still have to face the batter. You get a runner on. So like, let's say, as you said, if it's Gunnar at the plate, you could send Mateo or Mullins to the bag and get Gunnar to bat again. But imagine the drama of like, let's say it's a series between the Dodgers and the Padres, and Machado gets plunked, and he looks back out at the mound and is like, "No, F you, I'm gonna go again. Let's stand in the box." And he just cranks one in the following at bat. Imagine the drama behind that.
Oh yeah, that's way better than the Golden Bat.
It would be. What if they drilled him again though? Like, oh, you want it again? Whammy.
Then he just
that would be drama.
And
then he charges the mound, and Ventura's him, and
it could be a whole lot of things. There's a lot of things. Well, K-Mac, appreciate you, man. We do got a few other calls we got to get to. We have a wild Nick Moore that just popped up, by the way.
Showed up.
Like, the audacity of that man. Thought, here we are. We're not going to have Nick, and then whammy, here he is. But K-Mac, appreciate you, man. Yeah, we'll talk soon and figure out what the hell we're going to do for the rest of this bye week.
Love you, boys. I'm glad that I snuck in there in front of Nick Moore. I feel honored.
Yeah, screw Nick. Hey, K-Mac, appreciate you, man. Yeah. Should we just bring Nick on for this?
Yeah,
while we have Collins. Nick.
Wait, my camera's frozen, dude.
Oh my goodness.
What the heck?
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Nick was just super focused back screen.
It's the most focused we've seen Nick. And that time, let's get is Rick on here next?
Yeah, Rick's next.
Let's get Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Rick.
How you doing?
We're good. How are you doing, Rick?
I just want to say that you kind of went with what I was thinking about earlier, saying that it was wide open. In 2012, this time of the year, if you'd have told me we were going to win the Super Bowl, I'd have thought you were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really whoever gets hot and who can stay healthy coming down the stretch here. I think we got a really good chance. I mean, defense is playing good. The offense, they've been great all year. That was really the only off game Lamar's had. So I think we have a really good shot, is all I'm saying.
I'm with you, Rick. I mean, truly, the defense, the D has come up big here. They've looked good.
Pause.
It's all about having a good D. Take that for what it's worth. It's all about having a good D. Some would say a great D. That's what's going to travel in the playoffs. But that 2012 year, Rick, going back to it, everyone was looking, here we go again. It's going to be it's going to be the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning, or it's going to be Tom Brady with the Patriots. And then the Ravens had the Mile High Miracle. Then they went to Foxborough, finished business. A lot of things can happen. There's a lot of things. There's no force this year that you sit there and go, damn, that's a daunting team I don't want to face.
Yeah.
Because Baltimore can be that daunting team. So that's the fun part of it. Just got to get in and hopefully praying everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, and Tucker, he's earned a little bit of leeway. I know he's had a rough year, but he has all the potential in the world to lock in. And I think Nick and the boys and Tucker, they'll get it figured out, and it'll be a big story when he kicks the game winner for the Super Bowl victory. How's that?
There you go.
I agree, Rick. And you know what? I will personally help Nick out to make sure he does what he needs to do. I can give you the Ryan Ripken Show guarantee that I will be on Nick's case. Nick, this is on you.
Yeah.
Since you have Nick in the waiting room, I'll just keep it short here, and I'll just.
I mean, we might even bring Nick on at some point here. Let's just get Nick on here.
There he is.
There he
is.
Hey.
Hey, Rick, we're saying, or Nick, I don't know if you heard what Rick was saying, but I said personally, if you're not doing your job, I will come to your house and I will help you.
I'll make sure I do my job. Okay. I heard the Super Bowl. I'll be ready. We'll all be ready for that.
Hell yeah.
Keep the faith,
Yeah, you got to keep the faith. Hey, Rick, appreciate you. We'll keep it on because we got a whole bunch of people on, but appreciate you as always, and maybe we'll talk to you in Dallas.
All right, sounds good, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, Rick.
No, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nick, how we doing before we bring on our next guest?
Good. My man's clicked the mouse. I was like, my camera wasn't working in the screen, so I was like going over to my image, and my son hit my finger and hit the mouse, and I showed up on screen. I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I thought you were messing with the switcher back there.
I didn't touch anything.
I was trying to figure out my camera wasn't working. My face was frozen, and I was moving around. I was like, "What's going on?" So I wanted to see if I could edit it, and obviously that didn't work. So here we are.
It didn't work. Well, hey, Nick, you can just join us for these call-ins right now because we had a couple more. Okay. And then we can talk to you about life and how Georgia should be thankful they're not in the ACC. But for the meantime, let's talk about a little bit. He was waiting for this since Monday, but the more you know with Joe. Let's get Joe on. Joe.
Let's go, Joe.
Hey, Joe, man, I got to say, man, I don't know what it is. It's got to be the glasses because I've never seen you look more sophisticated in your life.
Yeah.
You're looking good, man.
Appreciate that. I hate them, but apparently the doctor said to pass my DOT physical in June, you might want to start wearing your glasses. So
let's pass that.
That's
Joe.
important.
Yeah.
Important. But you look good. You look good. Seriously.
So
what you got?
I got a fact. I got a question, and then I'll give you the information. What do you think the state beverage is for Arkansas?
There's state beverages.
Okay, this is interesting.
God.
Okay, is it a brand, or are we talking about
an actual drink?
Like it's
It is not a brand, and it's actual drink. Yes.
Is it moonshine?
What?
Is it moonshine?
It is. No.
I had to shoot my shot.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Brian, like a hint?
Yeah, is it like
Your family is very familiar with this beverage.
Is it Pepsi?
Milk?
Tequila.
Milk, not
Oh
tequila.
my God, it's milk. That's hilarious.
Oh God. That's
I respect you play Arkansas.
Drink of Arkansas?
Yes, and it has been since 1985.
All right.
Let's have some cows down there.
No particular style milk, just milk.
Okay.
So 1985. If you got milk, head to Arkansas.
Yeah,
You know, if you need it.
By the way, are you skimming it? Vitamin D, whole milk.
Well,
what are you doing?
Well, milk's got vitamin D regardless.
No. Well, you know what I'm saying. Whole milk.
2% or skim. If we're trying to have B
No.
as a T.
No.
I mean, the best tasting is whole milk.
Thank you. Okay.
It's
no doubt.
Vitamin D, whole milk.
Yeah. But if body's a temple here, you know, and
No,
you're trying to
no, that's the wrong answer. If your body's a temple, you drink raw milk. Okay.
Okay, Nick. Yeah.
Raw milk, dude. I'm telling you right now, raw milk is the best milk there is.
Where's Q?
There's
Q
no
just
question. There is no question. Go get you some raw milk at the local store. I'm telling you right now, it'll change your life.
I've never had raw milk ever.
Bro. There's a place right next to my house, Liberty Farms, right next to my house. It says for animal consumption only, but trust me, it's good.
that's why Nick.
Oh my God.
That is why Nick Moore is the strongest long snapper in the NFL right there.
Hey, it'll put some hair on your chest.
Hey Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off. What you got? What else you got for us?
Just trying to get through the day, man. Horns down for sure. Terps looked very good last night, but
how about that?
The Big Ten is not the SEC, gentlemen.
No, they're not.
They
are not.
In basketball,
they're
though,
better in football, but basketball is different. I agree with this year.
Actually, maybe not this year. SEC's got some. Alabama looks good.
Yeah,
Alabama looks really good.
Unless you're God-forsaken Auburn that lost to Duke, Jesus.
Yeah.
That was tough. That was tough, man.
It was really bad.
But they did win the Maui Invitational. They look good. The SEC has become a basketball conference, but they're slowly. That's what they're going to be known for after a while. It's going to be a basketball conference first, is where we're moving forward.
I will say we're getting to that part of the year. Once we hit like mid-January, I'll probably have like 15 to 20 different bet tickets on futures to win the NCAA tournament, because like last year I would get like a $5 free bet, just pick a winner. I had I think 9 different teams could win last year and I was profitable. It's just that my favorite time of year. Just for UConn, just for the team everyone thought would win it all to win it all.
Yeah,
naturally. Hey Joe, Joe, are we going to be able to? You're going to keep tabs with us when we're in Dallas?
Absolutely.
Got one more person we got to get to, but you're going to keep up with us in Dallas? Hell yeah.
Make sure you get some.
What'd you say, Joe?
Barbecue.
We'll get barbecue when we're down there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We'll get it. We'll get some down there. But hey, Joe, I look forward to. I'm glad we got your more with Joe, man. You keep bringing the Arkansas facts, and we're going to keep learning more about Nick in the process too. So this is perfect.
Yeah. The most consumed beverage is Dr. Pepper.
Makes sense.
That makes so much sense.
Tracks.
Hey Joe, let's get those Red Bull numbers up in Arkansas. Okay,
Get them
that
up.
needs to be number one.
Get those numbers up, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, the brand is number one over at. We're doing well.
That's what
Well, we appreciate you. And Joe, you look like an absolute you could be Dr. Joe when it's all said and done here. But Joe, appreciate you.
Thanks, Joe.
We got Nick in the chamber,
Thanks,
so we'll
Joe.
talk to you soon. All right. Oh man. Hey, Nick, I gotta say, man, we'll get into that. We got one more guest from across the pond
Nick.
here. Yeah, double Nick.
Nick.
Will the real Nick stand up?
No, because my name is spelled incorrectly. So
No. Not spelled incorrectly. Hey, so Nick Moore. This is Nick, British Raven. He lives over the pond. Huge Raven fan. he likes Nick Moore, big fan of Nick Moore, but the original Nick.
He can take it.
Yeah, it's fine.
He looks like he has a little bit more experience than I do.
He's definitely got you guys. He could challenge you for the beard, that's for sure.
Yeah,
hey,
he's got a nice beard.
This beard's about 1 month work.
1 month?
Oh yeah,
1 month.
Nice. We've seen some other photos. Yeah, we've seen some other photos of Nick's beard, and it is it's something to see. That's for sure.
It is something for sure. Yeah. Hey, but British Ravens, so we don't get the Knicks confused. How are we feeling today?
You know what? I thought coming into this week it would be a slog. You know, losing before the bye week is horrible, and having to manifest over that for nearly 2 damn weeks is horrible. But you know, it's full of it. There's drama everywhere, but you know, football wouldn't be football without drama.
Yeah,
exactly.
It really.
And I think, to your point, Nick, it's 2012. People forget. I see all these articles being brought up about 2012 when the Ravens won all. It was all this. Nobody had the Ravens being this. Oh, this is the team to beat. Oh, this is the team that's going to win it all. It was, wow, stuff ain't going well in Baltimore. They lost what? What is it, like 3 of their last 4? They lost 3 straight in December. You got to be playing your best football in January, not November.
Yep. I agree. It's tough right now, though. I mean, I think it was just no one likes to lose. It's not fun losing, especially with where the expectations are. But it's a good reality. We were talking earlier. It's a wide open AFC, British Raven. It's wide open. It truly. There's not that juggernaut that anyone's afraid of facing.
I just want to say this though, whilst I can. A lot of all of this drama that we see on Twitter is overblown. You only have to get into the playoffs to play in the playoffs. You can play well there, but you can play trash now. But as long as you get in, it doesn't matter.
Just get in. So you're telling wait, time out. So you're telling me.
Let's look at Eli Manning in the Super Bowls that those Giants teams won. What they did in the regular season.
They're like, just get us in and we'll be fine.
Just get in and win.
But so you're telling me you can't win the Super Bowl if you aren't in the playoffs?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying.
Just get in.
Didn't the Chiefs lose like 6 out of their last 7 or something last year?
Yeah, it was like
something wild at the end. They lost a lot of their games towards the end, and we all know how last year went. So
yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do. We can't blame Nick for that last year though, because Nick was recovering. But it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but British, what else we got on your mind here? What else we got?
You know what? I was going to come in here and blow out about Diontae Johnson, but I don't really want to put Nick Moore in a bad situation. So I'll just say, I'll just say we earn our place on teams. That's why I don't play football.
I'll say this though, and you know, Nick Moore would probably agree with me. All the situations and all different teams, different players, not everyone's the same, right? And sometimes you're going to go through moments as a team that you're going to have to deal with, right? And I think right now, at least the adversity for the Ravens, it just unfortunately for this last week, you had 2 circumstances where you had a moment where it became real for like Tuck misses in Baltimore. Like people saw it and it was like, damn, there was this question there. And then you have this whole issue. But it's not new to teams dealing with things. But just right now, it's even more heightened because of the circumstances. It was a double whammy of a week. You know, people remember with the Orioles during the season, you would have thought the season was over in July. You know, and that's just the reality of it. That you're gonna have the ups and downs. Just how do you get through it? So, but British Raven, if you want, we can see if you know if the Ravens need any more receivers. Hopefully Bateman's okay, but we can get you over here.
Yeah,
you're ready.
Quick Odell.
Yeah,
got some good hands there.
Are you consider yourself a possession receiver, big play receiver,
vertical threat like Nick Moore?
Yeah.
To be fair, you probably want me out there blocking on a screen. You don't want me catching that ball.
Hey, we just want you over here, man. Yeah, give him the business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, British Raven. And do people actually call you Nick Mason? Does anyone actually call you?
That name went a very long time ago. Even people that notice me in the street now actually just call me British Raven, not Nick.
Love it.
It's a very bizarre situation.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you. Next time we talk, we might be live in Dallas. If you need anything, you reach out, you let me know, and we'll be good. But hopefully your sleep schedule, you get some rest tonight for once. You won't, but try.
That won't be fixed for a very long time yet.
We love you, man. Appreciate you. All right, you have a great rest of the night.
Good night, Nick.
He's a good kid. Hey, Nick Moore, good to see you, man.
Good to be seen.
Good. This guy.
Good to be seen.
This guy.
Couldn't even hit us with a good to see you too.
Good to see you guys. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's great to see you guys. Zach's I don't know where right now.
That's no one knows. He's in the middle of
IO.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio, you know? Just
what are you doing there, dude?
My girlfriend's here.
Oh, that's a great question.
Loser.
I was telling them earlier, it's a horrendous vibe here after the Ohio State.
I mean,
I was in love once, you know.
The Grim Reaper comes through town.
Nick,
let's talk about college football. Little Columbus, because
what do you got to say, bro?
I think this, once again, this is the weirdest. Here's the current playoff, you know, what it is right now. And first off, the whole side region that is Penn State, Arizona State, Boise State. I mean, whoever wins, I would assume it's probably going to be Ohio State, Oregon, and that is just a free trip to the national championship. Wow. It just, this all right now, I don't know what to think about it. Georgia, probably in this, I would say it's Georgia, Alabama meet in the semis. It's probably Penn State, Ohio, or Oregon. I mean, I think Georgia's got a chance. I know Ryan's going to say the SEC sucks, but they got a chance.
Okay, timeout. I never said the SEC sucks. I just said how they've been glorified as the holy grail of everything is not the same.
Hold on. I'm mistaken here. There's 12 teams here, right? Let's just count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, is that 30? Is that one? Oh, man, that's 25% of the teams that are from one division. I'm sorry. I must have lost count halfway through.
I told you the 3 of them, but I forgot that it is okay to be good, but all right with being even mediocre against shit teams. You know what Alabama's record is against teams on the road, Nick? That are just on the road, not winning records, or sorry, winning. They're 1-3. Yeah. Nick, they lost to an Oklahoma team that's best win of the season prior to that was Tulane. Tulane's a good team.
Yeah, ball.
I mean, talk about ugly losses. Ole Miss lost to Florida. Well, guess what? Miami went to Florida and won by 1 million. Georgia Tech, thank goodness Georgia Tech couldn't run the ball from the 1 yard line, because then Georgia would be out.
Yes.
They would be out behind the shed, Nick.
Woo!
I'm just saying.
The great thing about it is the Dogs found a way to win, and here we are.
I told you
with a chance to win the greatest division in college football.
No, brother.
These guys are automatically assuming that Georgia can't win twice against the same team, bro. Let's just look at it, bro. It's possible. It's going to get done. Texas's front line's not ready for Georgia's defense. Texas's D-line has no answer for the offensive line of Georgia. It's a game, bro. If Carson Beck doesn't throw 3 picks, we boat race Texas in the first game.
It doesn't matter.
But he did. You know what?
It doesn't matter because the SEC team is not going to win a national championship this year, and that's just Nick's going to have.
That's going to be great. And that's 25% they don't win.
Yeah, because 3 of them have to beat each other to get in.
Well, and whose fault is that?
Based on this bracket. Bracket.
Hey, you have a homeboy, because I don't know if you know, Nick, Rocco DeSangro covered the Iron Bowl.
There he is.
Yeah, baby. Fellas, I have 2 words for you. The first one is roll, and the second one is tie. Because Bama is going to the college football playoff, Rip, whether you like it or not. And I know
actually, there's a chance they don't.
There's a small chance.
They're not, Rip. I'm sorry. They're not.
They're not going to keep them out.
They're not keeping
It's not about that. It depends on if Clemson wins, right? and they keep SMU in.
They're not
That's how
keeping SMU in, though. That's the thing. If you think they're keeping SMU over Alabama,
so it's a different conversation. But you're telling me you should penalize a team that got to their championship game.
No, they shouldn't. But I'm telling you, what's gonna happen is they are gonna put Alabama in over SMU.
I hope Alabama gets bounced and they keep SMU. I hope, because Alabama should not be in. They should not.
No.
I think that they can beat anybody, but if we're saying you have to be great for a season, Georgia found a way. I give props to Georgia. They grinded. I think South Carolina is better than Bama.
Yes. I think so too.
I think I would have South Carolina. You told me South Carolina's in, I would take it.
Yeah.
Bama,
I agree with that.
Bama made Oklahoma look like when they had, I don't even know what's one of the best teams. I'd say when Georgia was actually really good a few years ago, like that juggernaut team, or when Alabama would continue to win, they made Oklahoma look like the absolute monsters. They did. And they did it, and then they made Vanderbilt look like a top 5 program. And they clearly they're not. Well, you know, but it's the SEC, right? It's good value.
Decent this year. Okay,
Greatest conference in football.
The
greatest conference in college football.
If this were how, if this the bracket right here is how it would end up if it started today, I would put money on Alabama to win it all, because Notre Dame, that they blow Notre Dame out, they blow out SMU. Alabama runs this. If it's this way, it's either Alabama or
don't let them in. That's all I gotta say.
So what happens here? I'm still going with my bet, and we got to figure out what it's going to be, Nick. I still think you're having more teams in the dance. I still don't think an SEC team wins it.
Who's going to win?
Somebody's banging on the mic. On Nick's
Rylan.
mic.
Rylan. Yeah, my son, sorry. Hey, stop. Come here. Who's going to win?
No.
I'm telling you, man, Indiana might just pull the upset too.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Indiana
lost against the only good team they played this year.
I wanted Indiana to be so good, and I wanted Indiana to play that as a close game. And unfortunately, Indiana proved that they are a top 25 team in a good, like, feel-good story this year. They are not a playoff team.
The Cox need to be playing in this playoff.
If they would have started Sellers all year, they would be. If the Gamecocks knew how to close a football game, they'd probably be in the top 7 right now. But they blew it against LSU. They had Alabama on the ropes, and they couldn't get the wins. That's unfortunately for South Carolina. I agree. I think talent-wise, especially the way they're playing right now, had they gotten even just one of those wins, South Carolina, I think, is a lock for it right now.
I think South Carolina was the hottest team coming in the SEC. So, and therefore they would be the best team. Alabama, to me, was not playing their best ball right now. It was very up and down. Their biggest win is Georgia.
That's a pretty big win.
It's a big win.
Some would say it's the biggest win.
Okay, I don't know about that. I'd still say with the team that's undefeated in Oregon, I would still say that. I think the biggest thing for me is Bama's losses are not good. They're not good losses. And it'd be okay if it was like 2 losses, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
With the Dogs, though, Rip, everyone, like Carson Beck did not perform well at the beginning of the season. And I've said it all season long. Because Georgia has been able to win national championships without a superstar quarterback. It's no secret. Like Jake Fromm was not the best quarterback in college football. I can't remember if Jake Fromm won one, but he took him there.
Yeah,
Benson Bennett was not the best quarterback in college football. He won 2. So it's like Georgia knows how to play well, great football, without a stud quarterback. With Carson Beck, looking at him, all he has to do is play mistake-free football, and that ultimately will lead Georgia to a national title. And what has Carson Beck done the last 3 weeks? Mind you, one of those games was against UMass, but one of those games was against Tennessee, and one of those games was an 8 overtime game against Georgia Tech. He's thrown 11 touchdowns and 0 picks. So That's what the Georgia Bulldogs need from Carson Beck. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're
to
right.
ultimately get to the national championship game and win it. They need him to play mistake-free football.
Yeah, I mean, look, I talked with Coach Monken the other last week, and he basically said the same thing. He looked at me dead in the face because I asked him point blank. I was like, "What do you think about Carson? I know you worked with him a little bit." And he was like, "Look, Carson doesn't throw any interceptions. No one's going to beat Georgia. He thinks Carson's got first-round talent at quarterback. He hasn't had the weapons that Stetson had. He didn't have the weapons he had last year. I mean, just look at Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers and what they're doing in the NFL. I mean, both those guys are top-tier players at their position in the NFL as rookies. And he had those guys on his team last year. Mind you, Ladd missed a handful of games last season. But they've battled a lot of injuries. They don't have the talent. I mean, dude, we have an absolute epidemic of drops. It's mind-boggling at our ability to not catch the football. And we're still, we barely beat Georgia Tech. Who cares? They beat
Georgia
Miami.
Good team, by the way.
Rivalry game.
Yeah, we didn't have an answer for the quarterback run. I guarantee you, the next team we play that has a running quarterback, they're going to have an answer for the quarterback run. Because I guarantee Kirby broke 2 or 3 whiteboards at halftime and postgame, drawing up how to stop the quarterback run, and they're probably working that shit right now. And then, not that Texas has a running quarterback. I mean, I know they'd like to put Arch Manning in there when they want to get a little run from him, but
their offense is very fraudulent.
Look, they're already counting out the dogs. They're basically saying Texas is going to boat race the dogs this weekend, which is not going to happen.
Who is saying this?
They already put them at 7 in the projections. So that means they lost to Texas.
This is the current.
It's the current.
Texas and Georgia in the second round would be an absolute travesty to college football. That would need to be like a semifinal matchup.
No, it shouldn't.
Took it out of the Nick Moore dictionary.
No, but we don't want to see 3 times the Texas like that, bro. We've already seen this match once. We're about to watch it again. Nobody wants to see it again in 3 weeks.
Texas's defense arguably is the best in the country. Their offense is
not there.
Unpredictable.
Bro, if Texas A&M could play any football at all, they would have won the other night. Block punt inside the 20,
closing out a game.
2 back-to-back turnovers. Texas A&M has 0 offense. They had a young quarterback. They couldn't get anything going on offense. It's not to say that Texas is going to boat race everyone because they played 1 good game against Texas A&M.
On top of that, I saw a video where the Texas A&M quarterback, they made a montage of like when he played against Auburn versus what he was doing against Texas. Evidently, he was like tipping his pitches a little bit. So like he'd like separate his legs or have one foot in front of the other when he was it was a passing play, and he'd have his feet together when it was a running play. So that was pretty interesting to see how people figured that out. Now, I'm sure Texas was all over that, their defense and their DC.
Yeah. I'm just saying that.
Dude, Rip, did you ever play a down of football in your life, bro? I mean, come on. You and Zach, you guys are here talking smack like you played Pee Wee football.
Time out. So you're going to
already said I was taking the dog.
Talk like someone as well that acts like they didn't play baseball when they did play baseball. Okay, first off. And then secondly, you have the audacity to say things like that when you don't know what the hell is happening sometimes with, you know what? We break news to you, Nick. Love you. But,
this is good. I don't do the social media grind.
It's not even social media at that point here. It's just,
I don't look at stuff, honestly. I'm busy, bro. I got 2 kids. I got a wife.
You got a golf course.
I got to play. I have not played. It's been terrible weather this week, so I have not played this week.
I know. But so, Nick, what if I have said I thought that Georgia was the best team in the SEC. I gave you credit. I would say they're not as dominant as they used to be. That's all I'm saying. They're not the same dominant SEC.
No, 100%. I agree with that. I agree. That doesn't mean they're not going to win national championship just because they weren't as good as they were 2 years ago.
I didn't say that they wouldn't win. I said they would be my pick of the SEC teams, right? The team I trust the most out of it. But am I as trustworthy? If you had told me that Nick Saban was still there, I would take that Alabama team. I would think
Agreed.
The whole way. But right now,
he is going to town on that microphone.
Give me Boise State and Genty. I'm just kidding. That's a dream. I gotta have the love for Boise State, man. I got family connections there, Nick. All right, let my family live out a dream. Okay.
You guys can dream all you want, brother. Dreams die in the playoffs. against the SEC. Okay.
At some point, you got to wake up.
Oh,
That's where dreams go to die.
Hey, and last thing I'll say about Bama, you know how many wins they got to ranked?
Sorry, I had to throw that out of here.
Clip
He was
it.
banging it. He was banging it on the mic.
That's a clip. That is 1,000%.
Oh god, that's
Ah, you're a good kid, man.
That's what it was. Sorry.
Can't get that anywhere else, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
go
Hey,
ahead and show that.
I'm excited. We'll get that on the clip. Hey, I'm rooting. I want you to know, Nick, I am rooting for the dogs for you. I want you to be happy, but it's so easy to get under your skin, man. Like if I was playing against you in football, you might manhandle me, but I know all the buttons to press.
Yeah.
For Nick Moore.
Bro.
It's too easy, man. Too easy.
Bro, you're not under my skin. I'm just passionate about this subject because I lived it. Okay, it just means more.
Just mean
me and Rocco. We're the only ones that know we live that.
Yeah,
we live that lifestyle, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think that is something. That is something right there.
I did not just hear Rocco.
We're connected. We're connected through SEC football.
The only two SEC players here are Rocco and Nick. Rocco's been in the trenches.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is you're a good kid, Nick.
I've been on more SEC fields than you have, Rip. So
Man's
so
got
that's false.
Yeah,
That's false.
false.
I have. It's very true.
How many SEC fields you been on?
I've set foot on the fields at Jordan Hare, Sanford Stadium, the Fighting Nick Moores at Georgia, Neyland Stadium, it's Tennessee, Death Valley, LSU, Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny. Where else? Where else have I been?
That's 5.
Yeah, so I've been at 5.
Okay, I'll give you that. You've been to more.
That's
for now.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I guess Rip is. I always forget Rip went to South Carolina.
Yeah,
I was there for. I got no hate. I just said that South Carolina, they should be in.
They should be.
I told you
they're a good team. Yeah, so I think I really like watching Sellers. I think he did some really good things at the end of the season. He looked really solid last week. We kind of alluded to it earlier. They just didn't win those games when they mattered, and it's tough when you losing them in the division.
Can I say something about SC though?
No.
I think it would be great to see Sellers in there and playing in the college football playoff. But when you're talking about them and Alabama, who gets in, you look at the records, but SC lost to Alabama. So that head-to-head, Alabama owns that head-to-head. And they got boat raced by Ole Miss at home, 27-3. And I know Bama got boat raced by the team that SC beat they beat Oklahoma. They boat raced Oklahoma. So you look at that, but it's like when you're looking at the resumes and you're looking at how teams match up and head-to-head, like if you're going to make the SC Alabama argument, Alabama does hold that head-to-head this season. I mean, they beat them fair and square head-to-head in the regular season. So
I think it's just the at-large of the question is it who is better right now or what is your body of work? And that's where I go to it, where I look at it. Look, the SEC's got good teams, man. They got a very good conference. But the one thing I did want to point out, Auburn, who made the big upset, they lost to Cal, right? Oklahoma was winless in the SEC, beat Alabama.
Alabama.
Right? Like Georgia survives Georgia Tech. Miami's 2 losses this year are to two teams that have 8 or more wins. Right? So I wanted to throw it out. Kentucky got
Georgia Tech only has 7 wins. Okay, get your facts straight.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you kept them there. Hey, how many wins does Kentucky have?
I don't know.
Not a lot. Louisville outraged them, and Ole Miss lost at home to them. And then Ole Miss absolutely took the Fighting Nick Moores behind the woodshed.
The SEC's just deep, bro. The SEC's just deep.
Again, I want to bring this up, Rip, because I love this because it's like when I see that Discord message from you, it fires me up. Like I feel like I've never been more passionate about anything than defending the SEC's honor than I have when you just like sneakily throw something in there like Georgia might be frauds, and then Georgia ends up winning the game, or Texas might be frauds, and Texas ends up winning their game.
Well, Brad knows. I'll text Brad on the side and be like, "Hey, watch this."
you just drop something and just wait for it to just. Oh man! But you look at the strength of schedules. Look at the strength of schedule across all of college football, and I sent that to you last week, and it could have changed over the last week where I sent it to you, but I believe the top 5 teams are all SEC teams. It shows that you sprinkle in Texas and in Oklahoma now. You have so much parity in that conference and so much competition and so much talent. It's insane. Your conference could never.
Oh my goodness! I don't have a conference, right?
Yeah.
I'm a nomad. I root for teams. It would have been so great if Colorado and Boise needs to win, man. If we don't, I'm going to worry about Camden's well-being.
Yeah,
I really am. That's my brother-in-law. If Boise is not in the college football playoff, I'm going to send out a search and rescue for him. I'm a little nervous. So I'm praying. I'm hoping. There is a lot of activity there at the Moore household, man, and I love every second of it, Nick.
Yeah, that's great.
It is fantastic. Yeah, this is fun. We got Rocco on. We got Nick to pop in at the last moment.
I'm here. Yeah, he
it's okay.
He's had a long day.
It is bye week too.
Yeah,
you know,
he's had a lot of dad action today. We've got riled up. So
have you been?
I apologize to the viewers.
No, they love it, man. They love it. It's incredible.
My dogs are visiting too. Go ahead.
The dogs. Hey, what? Just thinking about it. You have a good Thanksgiving. We didn't even get to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we did. We Pat McCary and the O lineman had rented out a restaurant over in Roland Park, and so we went over there.
Ooh, where?
Johnny's. It's called Johnny's.
Yeah, Johnny's. No doubt about it.
It was a good spot. It was my first time being over there. Really nice area, and it was good. We got to hang out. Got to bring the kids with us. Rylan got to meet all the guys and play some card games with them and have some fun. So it was a very enjoyable time.
Hell yeah!
Did you pass by the Gilman School on the way to?
I did.
You did? Did you wave high?
I saw where the upper class lives at. I saw.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
There's some old money over there.
Must be nice, man. Must be nice.
Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Go Hounds. Don't you hate on it. I'll give you a tour sometime if you want.
Yeah, maybe I might need one. I can't afford that school for Rylan, but maybe.
Hey, you know what? Maybe when you're retired, they might need a football coach. You know, you could.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And obviously, have you been able to relax after this week? I know I was talking to you. I think it goes without being said. It was one word to describe this past week was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It was being at the game was the first time. There was a little bit more of just, yeah, it was rough. It was sad. You know, like it was tough. Season. Yeah. What I love is I got full faith that you guys are going to figure this out, man. I think it was more of, I think I told you, I just hate for you guys and a guy like Tuck. Like it pains me that people are having doubts. Like I just hate it. And I understand that it's going to take some time, but still got 5 weeks left to go.
Yeah. I mean, you know, last week was miserable. We did not play well in really all areas of the game. Can't chalk the defense up. They played a lot of football.
They played well though, Nick.
Like they did. They were on the field for a long time, and they gave us plenty of opportunities to win, and they kept us in the game. And that's really their job against an offense like that with Saquon and Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. It's really tough to, you know, get to play that well on defense and then kind of do the things that we did on offense and special teams. I mean, we haven't been playing complimentary football. Similar situation in Pittsburgh. I mean, defense played lights out there, held them to 6 field goals, and we just weren't able to capitalize on offense or special teams. And we had basically the same MO this past weekend. And it's one of those situations where it's like, You're honestly glad it's behind you. I mean, I know going into the bye week, you never want to lose because you got a long time to think about that loss. But NFC opponent, doesn't hurt us as much as it could have. And so it's like, we played not well, and we're just we watched the tape on Monday, put it behind us, move on to the next one. We got a big game this week, next week coming up in New York, and then we settled down and 3 AFC games that finished, 2 inside the division. So we got a busy last 4 games of the season, 3 games in 15 days. So it's going to be balls to the wall once we get back from the bye week. And I think this came really at the optimal time. And guys are, after that type of a loss, you really kind of want a second to step back and just regroup and, realign your focus and get everything going back to the way it was prior to that. So, hopefully this bye week, a lot of guys are getting some rest, taking some time off, spending time with their families. I know I am, and I've been able to hang out with some guys. We had Ravens Christmas party on Monday night, and so I was able to see a lot of guys down there, and had Tyler and his girlfriend over for dinner the other day, and gonna have some guys over this weekend, watch football, and just kind of get to hang out and not do football for a little bit. It's a nice little break. So
yeah,
we're looking forward to
break.
that.
You need a break from the actual game. I think a lot of things can get lost in the translation. I'll go to you, Brad, here in a sec. People can think for the longest time, same thing with baseball, talking about it. Well, hey, like, you got to fix this. You got to keep going. Sometimes the best thing you need at the moment is just take a deep breath. So maybe, honestly, in this case, this might be the best time for you guys just to step back. Guys are still in a good position to be in the playoffs, still have a chance to win the division. But, you can get back to putting your best foot forward when you're able to reflect and be like, okay, what do you need to do for this end run? And you need to go through the adverse times. I think it's a well-timed bye, and then it's hitting the ground running. Brad, what did you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was actually just going to switch gears a little bit. I ended up watching Hard Knocks on Tuesday. And
I did too.
Nick's, did you see half your face in there?
I did. I saw my brown aloe hat. Had half my beard in there.
That's right. I was just I saw the shot of Jay Tuck, and I was like, oh, that's a Nick Moore beard. But anyways, man, what was it like having them around? And you kind of already answered my question as far as watching it, but what did you think of it as well?
I didn't even notice that they were there. I knew they were there. Harbs kind of let us know early on that week that they were going to be in the building. So, you're a little bit more cautious around certain guys. I was standing behind 8 in one of the breakdown huddles after practice, and me and Tuck were right there. And there's like this little patch that they added to all of our jerseys, like right above the nameplate. And obviously mine doesn't have shit in it. It's empty. It's just like a patch there. But me and Tucker are standing behind 8, and he's got his like poking out. And I looked at Tuck, and I kind of tapped it on tapped the mic, and I was like, hey, he's got a mic right here. So we kind of stayed back a little bit. We saw them, like they had their teams like in the corner, they're getting the field practice shots and all that. But it is interesting to watch guys like, younger guys, especially. It's like their first time on, potentially being on like TV. And so it's funny because guys are acting a little different first day out. Everyone's got a little bit more energy, got a little bit more excitement, practice. It's like, hey, all right, dude, we don't have to change anything. We're just going to stay the same. And I'm sure, with everything that's going on with us, like I'm sure we'll get some TV time with Tuck coming through. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more of that coming up. I know they showed like a little snippet. Obviously the highlight game of that week was the Bengals and the Steelers, but they showed a little bit of our game, and like the one clip that I paid attention to was one of the field goals that we missed. And it's like, oh, I'll just go shoot myself in the foot right now. But it happens. It's cool. It's fun to watch. Like it's fun to see the other teams in our division, how they talk about the other teams.
Yeah.
Like particularly Coach Tomlin, how he was like talking about Joe Burrow and how he's kind of spoke a little bit. You see the stuff in the media, but it's an interesting thing to see like the inside of like our opponents, like our division opponents, and kind of see how they work and see what it's like to be there for a day and how it compares to Baltimore and how it differs and all that stuff. And it's a cool insight, and I enjoy watching it. It's fun entertainment, and it's always fun to hear the mics, the people that are mic'd up during the games and practice and stuff. So, the first interaction they showed of the Ravens, I don't know if you guys, if you caught it or not, but it was with Randy Brown, who's my coach, and John. He was talking about giving him his jacket because it was cold. And the day before that, so that was on Thursday, I believe. And on Wednesday, we were having, so me and Harbs and Tuck were having the same conversation. It was really cold on Wednesday. And John's like standing there. He's got his little hand warmer, electric hand warmers, like in his hands. He's like standing here holding them. And Tuck was like, "Oh, are those electric?" And Harb's like, "Yeah, once you get to be my age, like I'm 62, I'm cold all the time. So I got to bundle up." And that was how the conversation started. And it quickly segued into, Nick, you're going to be fat when you're 62. Like, basically, that's how it was like, yeah, that's how it went. It was like we were like riding this roller coaster, and all of a sudden it was just like all over the place.
Is there any chance that that's going to be mic'd up, that we're going to see that on Hard Knocks?
I mean, I feel like you would have seen it already. Maybe they'll hold on to it, but then it progressed into, he actually gave me, for one of the first times ever, he gave me a compliment on how well I've been maintaining myself during the season. And he's like, usually you're like 270 by now. And I was like, yeah, I'm only 260, coach, right where you want me to be. So
it's because doing the job. Yeah. It's doing the people's work.
It is. It's doing the Lord's work, baby. Gets in there, gets right, and but it's fun. I mean, it's cool to watch that stuff and see it. But right now it doesn't really. It's right now we have other things we got to focus on and trying to worry about that. So
yeah,
we'll watch Hard Knocks when they're viewing us holding up the Lombardi. Yeah, that'll be a nice ending to Hard Knocks.
That'd be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick. I just want some more Nick Moore content, to be completely honest. So I guess then, I mean, they could probably do what they want. If they wanted to show some things from this past week, they probably could. But it sounds like they're just going to move on to the next game.
They still got to show. They didn't show much of the Browns because they played on Monday night and the thing aired on Tuesday. So they'll have to show that game and
post both. Well, and I just realized you guys were the later window on Sunday. Yeah. Bengals and Steelers played the 1:00 game.
Yeah.
Rocco was able to pay off a speeding ticket. I don't know if you heard about that too, Nick.
I saw that comment. Yeah.
It was very foul of Rocco.
I want to go fast.
I do gotta say, I love the Tomlin content.
Dude,
Tomlin. I mean, it was awesome. I really like Tomlin a lot.
You can see why he's had so much success.
Yeah. What's really, really cool about Tomlin that, Nick, what you talked about with the how he talked about Burrow, like how he talked about Lamar too, because it's like back in like the 80s and the 90s, teams had the Jordan rules. The Pistons developed the Jordan rules, whatever they were. It seems like the Steelers, they try to develop, or they have developed their own set of Lamar rules, and they're trying to do the same for Joe Burrow. And that's kind of what Tomlin was talking about. And it just shows the respect factor. And he's talked about Lamar like so much about, when someone came in and said, hey, Jaden Daniels, you're facing him. Can we compare him to Lamar? And he's like, hold up. That's Mr. Jackson, the two-time MVP you're talking about there. So the mutual respect is really cool to see. And I don't think many people have really seen, like the public has seen like Mike Tomlin in that light where you get the behind-the-scenes version of him. So I'm loving it right now. I'm loving Hard Knocks in general. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's I know it's sometimes teams can hate it, but it's a really cool perspective for people. Also, Nick, I wanted to see the other reason why I wanted to see the Eagles Ravens, if there's highlights. Dude, like, isn't the Philadelphia Eagles the Georgia Bulldogs on the defensive side?
Pretty much.
They are. Yeah, they are indeed.
They got some dogs over there, literally.
They have a handful of dogs, like 7, I think, on their team. Yeah. Six now. I think they got rid of DeAndre, but it was good to see those guys. We played them in preseason. Got to talk to some of them. A lot of them didn't play in the preseason game, so Jordan Davis and I go way back. I played with him. I had the pleasure of meeting Jalen when he was in college. I know N'Kobe a little bit, and then Kelly Ringo. They're all really good players. Obviously, they were at Georgia when Georgia was the pinnacle of college football, and they've all exceeded pretty well in the NFL. So it's cool to see them. I mean, they were kind of talking smack. They had we had one punt that was against D-Stay, and we ended up getting a penalty on it. We had to repunt it, but they were out there talking smack. And no, Nakobe was, and then on the last PAT, believe it or not,
no boy,
3 seconds left in the game. I've been talking with Jalen and Jordan all game. Jordan and I are really good friends, and we've been talking throughout the game. They took it easy on me for the most part, and 3 seconds left in the game. We get out there, break the huddle, I get lined up, and Jalen's standing right in front of me. He looks at me and he goes, "We're coming," and I was like, boy, I'm just glad they took it out on Voorhees and not on me, because they hit my man Voorhees. That was some very aggressive shit. They knocked his helmet off.
Damn.
On the final,
some would say it was hands to the face, but they at least they told us they were coming. A lot of guys don't do that, and it was just funny because it's 3 seconds left in the game. At that time we were losing by 6. And it's come on, dude. Are you serious right now?
Don't you dare.
You haven't rushed all night on legitimate field goals where we can take the lead or we are winning, and you haven't rushed at all. And now that there's 3 seconds left, you guys are like, oh yeah, we're gonna come after your ass this time. And they did. Luckily they hit Voorhees first. Shout out to Andrew for taking the brunt of that. But it was fun. I mean, those guys are, like I said, they're great guys. So I was happy to see them have some success. Unfortunately, it was against us. They are very big guys, man. I'll say that Jordan Davis is one of the biggest people I've ever met in my life. And I know Calais. So
I'll talk about two massive individuals.
Yeah.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach or Rock, Brad, I think there was a good chance that Jordan Davis probably was going to be a Raven.
Yeah, yes. That was a Kyle Hamilton draft, right?
And hey, I'm ecstatic that Kyle is a Baltimore Raven. I'm just curious, what would Baltimore have done? Because they really love Jordan Davis, and they really love Kyle Hamilton. We'll never know, but could you imagine? At least he didn't absolutely ruin Nick's life on Sunday.
I'll say this though, we did get a guy in that draft that is of equal potential in Travis Jones, and
stud.
That guy's a stud. He might be stronger than Jordan. He's not quite as big, obviously, but T. Jones is he's a big boy, and he's strong as shit, boy.
He makes a difference, man. If he stays on the field, the defense just feels a little different. I hope he stays healthy, man.
Hey, the defense looks different.
It looks different right now.
Last couple weeks, we've really been cranking it up.
Yeah, we got Mike Pierce is hopefully coming back soon.
Talk about
another big guy. Yeah, I mean, Travis has been dealing with that ankle all season. He's been tough as nails battling through that. Basically every game I feel like he sprains his ankle, and they're like, hey, we should dial you back. He looks at him, and they're like, all right, fine, go ahead and play. It's fine. And Travis not a guy that I would ever tell him not to do something, because he could literally just put his fist right through my chest. But he's a guy that just wants to play, man. He does not care. He's willing to sacrifice it all. He's not thinking about next season. He's not thinking about getting a contract. That man is thinking about winning games right now and doing everything he can to help the team. And it shows. I guarantee you he's, what is it, Thursday today? I guarantee you he's worked out 3, maybe 4 times this week already, and doing his rehab, doing his treatment and stuff like that. And that guy, he's just an all-around dude. He's the kind of guy you aspire to be like, because he has a work ethic that's unmatched, him and Broderick Washington, and he's got the talent and the skills to go with it. And I just like, man, if this guy if he can continue to stay healthy, continue to play, sky's the limit for his potential and what he's going to be able to accomplish at the nose guard position.
Yeah, I agree. I love the insight to it. I think everyone likes to hear the hunger of the player. and to describe it. And I love the fact that he can whoop your ass at any given time.
I don't know anybody. Maybe Ben Cleveland. It would be a fair fight, but dude, I've seen that guy literally bench press a house. He throws on every 45 on the bar, and he's just
all right. I think it's a good. Who is he the strongest on the team?
I don't think so. No.
Who's the strongest then?
I'm gonna have to go with Ben Cleveland on that one. I'll tell you this story real quick. It was OTAs, all right, and Travis is a workout fiend, bro. Like, that guy lives and breathes in the gym. Him and Broderick Washington, they're in the gym every day. Like, when we're not playing football, that dude is working out. He gets after it. Ben, totally opposite, okay? Ben is just naturally gifted. He's got muscles on top of muscles. It's kind of disturbing. And we were in OTAs, and we were doing this bench workout, and it was like, we have these, like, they're called perch systems, and they track the bar speed, and you have to get into a range, and you have to get to a weight that makes you struggle in that range or whatever. And Ben, mind you, they stopped letting Ben work out last season because he was gaining too much muscle mass, and he was getting these soft tissue injuries. So they needed him to get fat, literally. And so he wasn't allowed to work out. I'm not joking you. And mind you, Ben doesn't care. He's not, he's never been huge on working out. He does manual labor, and that's his lifts and shit, go cut down trees and stuff. And so we're in the weight room. Ben hasn't done anything. He's sitting cold, on a machine, just propped up, drinking his energy drink, watching everybody. And it's Voorhees, Broderick, and Travis Jones, and they're getting after it, dude. It's they're just throwing up ham, dude. And they go, they start at 135, they build up. I think they're at 405, and everyone's going crazy in the gym. And Ben's literally just sitting there he's just kind of shaking his head, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hold my beer." And he hands me his fucking C4, and he goes over there cold, lays on the bench, no spot, just unracks it and just goes like this. And then he puts it up and walks away. And everyone's just like, what the hell just happened? And Ben is just, that guy's a specimen. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, that guy is head to toe muscle. He's 6'7", 360, 355, I think. And he is just built like a brick shithouse. And he's got that God-given Trav is obviously put in the work to get to where he's at, but he's also a naturally gifted person. But it would be interesting to see them go head to head, pound for pound, to see who the strongest guy was, because they're roughly the same weight. Ben has a little bit of a deficit because he's so tall. So the squat stuff is hard. But I've seen Ben in college, man. I swear to God, I saw him literally reverse curl 405 off the ground for a power clean, stiff leg, just grab it and just do this, and then just throw the bar. It was like a toothpick. He just picked it up and just, yeah.
Ben reminds
I feel like my back
his
broke.
actual body and his physique looks like the strongest man in the world competitions. He looks like one of those dudes. Yeah.
Is that guy the mountain from Game of Thrones or whatever?
Yeah. I've always told Ben he's either going to do WWE or he's going to be a strongman when football's over.
Yeah.
Because that Joker, if he trained a little bit, he would be the strongest human being on the planet. There's just no doubt in my mind. It's crazy.
It's just some people have that. Just like that, man.
Same with speed, Nate Wiggins just woke up one day and ran a 4.2. It's that's not fair. I trained speed my whole life. I ran a 4.8 at best.
But you did get up to 19 miles an hour.
19.4, man. Put some respect.
19.4. Shout out, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud.
I might have been on the golf cart. We don't know yet. It's to be determined. No, I'm just kidding. I ran that on a kickoff cover in 2020. And scout team kickoff cover back in the old days when we used to have to run full field for kickoff.
Man, that's
back in the day.
You want to know the fastest I've gone, Nick? 87 and a 55.
Nice. Nice.
I got a $200 ticket for it.
That hurts.
It's terrible.
I'm glad there were no cops when I was taking my wife to the hospital, because I was going well over that in a 35. So
Well, yours at least was for,
good reason.
Yeah.
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 You're having a child. It's
I don't like
Rocco
to drive
was
fast anymore. No.
I'm the
best
same
was-
way.
The best was when we were like you hadn't answered in like hours, and I was like, "Is Nick alive?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm driving my damn wife to the hospital." I was like, "Shit, my
Bro,
bad." Like,
I was
sorry.
zipping, bro. I was going. I mean, I had to be going 110 on the back roads up to Carroll County in my TRX. I have a really nice truck. It goes really fast, and I love driving it. But I very rarely take that thing fast because it's so big and heavy. Like, it's a lot of effort. Honestly, it's like effort to like get it to go because you have to focus on it. And I just don't typically drive fast. I'm like, I don't want to pay for a speeding ticket. They're already looking at my truck anyway because it's big and it's all black and the windows tint. If I get pulled over, it's going to be window tint, exhaust, speeding. It's going to be the whole nine, right?
You're getting
So
everything. You're going to get 15 points off your license.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I just drive, I go like 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, 9 if I'm on the highway. But that one night my poor wife she was like, "You better hurry up." I said, "Okay." Yes, ma'am. And I hurried up. We got there quick. It was a 25-minute drive. We got there and give or take 15.
You know what? It's for the right causes. You
Yeah.
were for your wife, for your child, and Rocco was trying to make the show on time. And I said, take your time.
Rick's calling me irresponsible. He's right. I was going with the flow of traffic, but still it was very irresponsible of me. Rick, you're absolutely right. I have no argument there. So I apologize to everybody out there.
You're a good kid, man. I don't care what they say about you, Nick.
All right, who we got this week, man? Who we got this weekend? Who we taking in these championship games?
Oh, we're back.
I want to know. I want our picks.
Okay.
Can I go through? You want me to go through them, Rick?
We'll do this and we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
But
I wanna know. End on a high note.
End on a high note. This was a high note. What the heck are you talking about?
I'm saying we're going to end on a higher note.
Well, what if?
There's no way that Penn State beats Oregon.
I don't think
Zero
so
chance?
No chance.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Zero.
Penn State.
I don't know.
Penn State arguably I don't even know if Penn State's good enough to be in this playoff, but because of the big,
Penn State is the type of team where there could be a 50-team playoff and they'll find a way to not make it in. Like somehow, some way, it'll just they always find a way to just choke. This could be the year they get in, but I don't know.
So
I'm not a
I
big
think,
James Franklin guy.
I'm going Oregon. I think that they right now, overall, I trust them. So we're all in agreement on Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to see Dan Lanning have some success.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, Georgia guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude, good coach, guy you root for. What about, let's go to the Big 12. Iowa State and
Arizona State. Arizona State's playing some really good ball.
I love Kenny Dillingham. Love him.
I like ASU in this one. I think that they're hot right now. They're playing well. I'm for that. Nick?
For the sake of Charlie Kolar and his broken right arm, I want to see Iowa State.
Iowa State.
I want
to take the Cyclones.
Hey,
I think it would be good to see. Yeah. Yeah, for real. No, seriously, shout out that guy. I would love to see Iowa State win. They need a win. They need something good. So I would love to see them win.
Brad, who you got in that one?
I don't know. I was actually looking at this Marshall, Louisiana game.
Oh, that's the big one that everyone – Nick. So,
Big one, baby.
Marshall, Louisiana, the game that people are talking about.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not as informed on this one as I probably should be, but
people are saying Marshall should actually have a chance to be in. Some are
They
claiming
do.
that.
yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of Marshall this season. I think that they're going to win this one. I don't foresee them making the playoff, but I think they can.
Obviously not, but we're just I will have that clip forever. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
I could see that.
Go Herd, baby.
Yeah.
Go Herd.
I mean, they are Marshall, dude.
Yeah.
We are.
We are.
No, they are. We are not.
Well, I say we are.
That's what they say. Okay. The ACC, Clemson, SMU.
Clemson.
I think Clemson too, man. I really do.
Nate Klubnik is. I know he had a bad ending to the South Carolina game. Kate Klubnik is still playing some damn good football for Clemson.
I have to go with that too.
SMU is favored by 2.5.
Give me SMU, man.
2.5. I'm taking Clemson all day on that one.
Yeah.
I want
the big one.
Different names in there. SMU. Give me SMU. The big one then.
The only one that matters.
Boise State and UNLV.
Oh,
that is important. If you say
don't sleep on Las Vegas now.
I was gonna say Vegas is really good.
They're a good team, man. Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah.
Boise beat them though, because Boise's a good team. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Listen. If UNLV can figure out a way to stop the run, I think it's going to be UNLV. If they can't stop the run,
Boise's favored by 3.5.
Everyone said that you're going to stop the run.
Yeah, I mean they have to. That's basically all they have. So
it's going to be Boise.
If we can stop our guy, Michael Myers back there, I think they have a chance to win. I think they will win if they can do that.
You gonna take Army over Tulane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Tulane can. Dude, the triple option's tough, man.
Hey, Tulane is favored by 5.5.
I want Army to win. I think Tulane wins.
Yeah,
want to see Army. I think Tulane.
I'm going Tulane.
It would be cool. It would be cool to see Army win.
Army's throwing the ball a little bit more this year too. Though it's like
as long as Army holds on to the damn football, they'll win this game.
So, I think that covers all the big games.
Yeah, it does.
Except for the game.
Well, the game already happened last week. Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah.
You know.
Listen,
all right, Nick. We know where you're going. You're going horns down, Texas, Georgia. So you're taking Georgia, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. What's the wager between you and Tuck?
We don't have one. Tuck doesn't bet.
Wow. Well, I mean, just like he doesn't bet like as far as like,
none of you guys.
How many push-ups are you guys doing?
What you guys about like?
No, he doesn't gamble anything. He doesn't. I'm gonna just send him the Quinn Ewers clip of him saying Texas is back a bazillion times and say Texas is in fact not back.
Send him a picture of Tom Herman
or Sam Ellinger. Sorry, not Quinn Ewers.
Oh yeah. Those are the Tom Herman years. The years that Texas fans are
back.
Hey man, everyone in college football wants to see Texas do well because they're tired of the same old Georgia, Alabama. But listen here, brother, my son's back, so here he is.
So that means right?
But listen, it's the same old song and dance, bro. Georgia, all
Nick,
the way.
I have a crazy scenario with just like quarterbacks, the SEC, and playing Georgia. And I don't mean to like open up like old cuts or anything, but I'm just like envisioning this scenario of Quinn Ewers just stinking it up in the first half against you guys. It might not happen. It might. And Arch Manning coming in and saving the day, like once upon a time in an SEC championship game where Bama did play Georgia and one Jalen Hurts came in for Tua.
Listen, that would be the only way that Georgia goes out. It would have to be on the quarterback switch.
It's hard. This is storyline, man.
Is anyone here taking Texas?
No, I'm not.
Oh, we got some horns up here, baby.
I'm taking Texas on this one.
There's just no way. I just don't see Texas beating them.
Just when you think you know a guy.
I'm about to get flagged 15 yards.
Hey, but I'll actually say this.
15 more.
It's hard to beat a team again, right? And also, if Georgia and Texas have to play each other, it's even harder to win 3 times against the same team.
Yeah.
So, Nick, maybe you do want to lose to Texas. Maybe you do.
No, we don't. We're going to win them every time. It doesn't matter how many times we play those people. We're going to win. All right.
No, but everyone counted us out. We've lost 1 game in the last 3 years, and no one believes in us. Right? That's what was said.
No one believes in us. It's all right. Hey, listen, man. I don't see eye to eye with Kirby Smart on everything, but that son of a gun is a football coach, and he's going to get these boys ready to rock and roll. He's got a fire lit under these boys' ass.
And
he's in there telling them, everyone in here thinks you're dog shit. They're talking about Georgia Tech's quarterback running all over us last week. That shit's dead. Go ahead and leave that at your house. As he breaks the whiteboard.
You know,
They don't know shit.
They have a picture. They have a picture in the Georgia locker room of Ryan's face. They said, this dumbass said the SEC is down and they stink and we're frauds. Look at this dummy in the face right here and tell him he's wrong.
So where that accent like kind of peaked and went up and down there, is that Kirby Smart? Does he crack the voice rock?
For Rocco, maybe.
Nick knows Kirby Smart.
I had to make sure my language was viewer acceptable. I didn't want to go full Kirby Smart. I tried to. I was imagining what he would say, and then I was rewording it to fit a PG audience.
It was a good save.
Yeah. So it took me a little bit to get it out, but he's going to throw a chair and break a whiteboard, and it's over. When he snaps the whiteboard, dude, I think they're undefeated, probably 100-0.
That's his thing, Nick, because Saban was the headset.
Are you saying the whiteboard against Ole Miss?
No, I've seen him do. I only ever saw him do the whiteboard once, boy, but he punched straight through that thing, and we went out and won. I'll tell you that much.
Who was it against?
It was 2017 Oklahoma.
Oh, because
it was technically 2018, but it was in the Rose Bowl.
Was it the Baker year?
Yeah, it was in that
Baker and Chubb, and Chubb was going up and down the field 70 times.
Chubb and so.
So he broke the clip, or he broke the whiteboard.
Yeah,
in the largest game of the year. And he said, Nick, you are playing like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then he punched through the whiteboard and you guys won.
Yeah, we were down 34-17, I think, at halftime.
Ooh.
But we were getting boat raced. The only reason we had 17 is because they tried to squib kick with 5 or 10 seconds left in the half, and Austin Cyber was their kicker, and he mishit it. He hit it right at our guy that was in front of him. And Tate Crowder, he just knocked the ball down and got it at midfield or the plus 45. And then we ran a play, and then Rodrigo hit a 55-yard field goal to give us 17, and we never looked back. It was the broken whiteboard, I'm telling you.
The broken whiteboard.
In 17, were you a long snapper at that time, or were you still fullback, linebacker?
I was long snapper. I started against App State, Notre Dame, and who was the other team we played? I played the first 3 games. And then I played one play in the national championship game that year.
Electric.
Yeah.
And that's why Georgia is who they are now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me and what I went through there, Georgia would, there's no telling where they would be right now.
Roquan Smith would not have become the dominant linebacker if he didn't have to beat out Nick Moore for that spot.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I said it to his face. All right. I did my spotlight to the team. I said, you guys can thank me for Roquan's success. If it wasn't for me stepping down as a linebacker,
you know what? It's kind of like the remember the Titan moment where it's, hey, Petey's just better. If you want to give him the spot, go give it to him. So that's what you did. You acknowledge he's not the best player. You're not the best player. You're going to go give it to the best guys. That's really kind of you, Nick. You're always people helping people, man.
Hey, don't forget to vote Nick Pro Bowl.
And don't forget to vote Nick on the Pro Bowl, man.
Vote me.
Vote
me, please.
Hopefully you're not going to be there, but you need to have the accolade.
Yeah, give Nick the option to decline the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's what we need.
There's articles out there that say that Nick Moore, of what he does, it's the cream of the crop. That's all I can say. So,
yeah, exactly. All right, boys, I got to run before my wife kills me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did too.
We were good. Yes, we were good. All right.
Great
All right, boys.
conversation.
See you, Nick. Appreciate
See you
you
guys.
Coming on.
Goodbye.
Appreciate
Goodbye.
you, Nick.
Horns down.
Horns down. Horns down. How are we doing, Brad?
I'm ready to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to. So for everything else, we might have to wait for a different time.
Could have been any other day. It had to be when I was under the weather.
We can blame Nick on that. So, you know, so we're going to have to wrap up for today. So we got through a lot. We had our call-ins earlier. We had Nick join unpredictably that set the things into a different motion. And that's all we got. So any other closing thoughts, guys?
Vote Nick Moore Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. Well, here we go, guys. You want to cue the music? Okay, you cued it. As always, here on the Ryan Ripken Show, appreciate each and every one of you. See you guys in Dallas for our next episode. But have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend, and enjoy and be safe.